All right, guys, we are live. I am here with Ben Robertson and Ted Nguyen from The Athletic. Guys, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me tonight.
Great to be here, Vass.
Now my
What's going
computer's
on,
going to make a
guys?
bunch of noise. So this may be, we'll see, the penultimate one of these that we do. We'll see how if YouTube's going to get. I'm going to take a shot here and go out on a limb, and we got a strike or claim. I don't know what it's called last week, and it's a shame because stuff like this, and there's a million of these type of deals with people from all over covering certain teams, guys that do this for fun, that just want to like make the game more enjoyable, more digestible, more accessible to understanding or being bothered. And it bums me out because I had a lot of fun doing these all year. I'm gonna do the Rose Bowl. Somebody asked me when Gary Patterson retired to do the Rose Bowl when they beat Wisconsin. So hopefully we'll get that going next week. But this will be the last one, obviously, for the NFL season. We talked about doing them in the off season, covering teams that we didn't address during the year, teams that had amazing defensive performances, but that week they just got outshined. Like I can think of the Cowboys had a lot of weeks where they could have been on, and we just happened to choose another game. Love to break them down and how they use Micah Parsons and some of those things. But we will see. Thank you guys for joining us. Ted, I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on because there's really no downtime until May with covering this league because now you go right into the draft. But somebody was like, it was like 2 minutes after the final whistle. Somebody was like, "Well, it's draft season," and I cried a little bit inside. But so thank you for joining us. What did you think of the game overall? What were your takeaways overall performance from both teams, and then specifically about the Rams defense?
I just was surprised at when I was just watching the game live. I was just surprised at how little the pressure kind of materialized in the first half. But obviously, Burrow was doing a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly, and they were sliding the protection towards Donald. But I thought some of the other guys might have been able to take advantage of some of those one-on-ones on the backside of those protections. And in the second half, they just kind of went back to what was working for them in the playoffs because Morris really turned up his blitzing into playoffs. I think it went up to like 50% on third downs when it was like around 20 or high 20s in the regular season, and it was really working for them. And he was kind of pretty passive in the first half, and in the second half he started bringing some five-man pressures and using simulated pressures and that sort of deal, and got Aaron Donald some one-on-ones, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, I thought early on, I mentioned this. I was on one on Sunday. My Twitter fingers were going a mile a minute. Um, I think in the first half he was letting them off the hook. They were doing, and I understand one of the benefits of locking in their 5 down package. We talked about this, and we will continue to talk about it tonight. Um, they call it penny. Is they can bring strong side rush and still play split safety coverage, which traditionally out of a 3-4 structure is not usually done. And there are some different things they can do. The thing about the 3-4, and I don't want to get too locked in, too myopic right now and talking about scheme, but one of the things about the 3-4 is back when it started getting in vogue when LT and Carl Banks and all them cats were with Belichick, and I know it was run before that, but the Orange Crush defense and then Belichick's Giants defenses, they used to say, oh, you can bring pressure from anywhere. You don't know where the fourth rusher is coming from. And that's true, but traditionally it has tied in together with the coverage. So if you're bringing something from the passing strength, you're going to roll down to cover 3. If you're going to bring something away from the passing strength, you can roll 3 weak, although in some formations that put your safety in the A gap on run fits. I don't want to get further into the weeds. But it was kind of locked in. And what Fangio found out years ago was that you could kind of spin it backwards in the quarterback's head. Like they see strong side pressure. People learn in patterns. And so, and I felt early on, he was getting too cute. And he was bringing these strong rushes and playing split safety and getting Weddle all over, but they weren't doing those one-on-ones like you were saying. So you got Aaron Donald or whomever, and he's a three technique that's having to go out to contain, which is literally what you do for your shittiest pass rusher. That's like, all right, this guy can't rush the passer, so let's have him do this. And then I think they were going to play coverage first, and I think Cincinnati had some success, and I feel like he was overestimating what they were going to do. And when he covered up everybody, and Belichick's always said this: if their O line is shitty, cover all five guys up, right? All you got to do is win one-on-one. It's just like offense. They say, "Oh, you're going to play man on us? Well, we don't have to win all our matchups. We just have to win one matchup." But the difference on offense is the quarterback has to see that matchup. Defense don't have to see shit. They just got to win the matchup and then go hit the son of a bitch in the face. So I don't know. I think he saw that in the second half is, well, I'm sure somebody somewhere was like, hey, that like the best player ever at his position, you're not using him correctly. and I think Cincinnati fell into the trap of the old Buddy Ryan trap of, we can't block him, so we're going to bring more blockers in. And I almost turned the game off at one point because I was getting pissed. And I don't have the numbers and the EPA and all that stuff, but I'd love to see the EPA out of empty versus all the other plays. Love to see that. Actually, one further, I'd love to see if any of you guys are in here that has access to this shit. If y'all could, I want to see the EPA and 11 personnel empty, 11 personnel non-empty, and I want to see their 12 personnel stuff. And I want to see those three things because I don't know. The first play of the game, what they did early on was they isolated the middle linebacker. He's not a bad player, but it's not like you're isolating Von Miller. So
what middle linebacker is going to hang with Jamar Chase in the slot running option routes?
They're running option routes at the middle linebacker.
None of them. That's who.
They were basically running Tampa 2-beaters, but to beat their like weirdo. Actually, that's not fair because they weren't high-low in the linebacker. But it was just weird. It was strange. They were letting him off the hook, and Cincinnati was doing the thing. I'm like, okay, this is good. And then they both reversed roles. The Rams were like, shit, we can get better. And the Bengals were like, shit, we can get worse. Let's do those plans. And they were trying to bring two blockers in the backfield and then releasing them out. I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers, put them in empty. Like, if you're going to put them in the back, you're not fooling anybody. It's not like they're changing personnel. It's not like, or they're changing calls based on where the backs are. Like, there's two backs in the backfield. Let's go one high. There's empty. Let's go two. They were running the same shit, and they're delaying them coming out. And it's just like, I was not happy. Ben, what were your thoughts?
I wanted a lot more empty as well. I felt like they had something early in the game. There was a couple big explosive plays out of, a lot of completions at least in empty. And then I same as you, I did not like when they started putting the tight end in the backfield to make the 20 personnel looks. I was not a fan of that. I wouldn't have had a problem if they would have used some like 7-man pro take a shot stuff, which they did. That the big completion to T. Higgins down the sideline was that, and then they never got back to it. That was really disappointing that they never got back to that. It was pretty obvious in the game, like LA really lost respect for any kind of vertical passing game. Like the post players playing with no depth. Like the safeties are not respecting any of this deep threat stuff because they just weren't throwing it. That was disappointing that there wasn't any more of that. But you're right. When the game got in, especially into the second half, and they got the lead, I felt like the play calling for the Bengals got really suspect. A lot of really calls that I was really surprised to see. There was way too many first down runs in the second half. I thought he got way conservative, way too fast. Like the 12 personnel, every time he got into 12, it was to run it. And they, outside of one duo play in the second half where LA was in their 40 front playing the run because it was two tight ends on an extra offensive lineman. and the safety had an A-gap fit on Duo, and he had way too much depth, and the ball hit. Other than that, like Cincinnati wasn't really running the ball, like not in the way that you could get beat giving up runs. And so I thought I was really confused by the play calling. I wanted a lot more empty, and I wanted more, vertical passing game out of 7-man, 6-man pro. And we didn't get any of it. There was, as the game went on and he got more conservative, they got into way too many second and long, third and long situations. And by then he had figured out, like, hey, this 4-man rush is not working. We need to go to 5-man rush for, like you said, to create all these one-on-ones. And we're going to win these one-on-ones. And sure enough, I mean, once they couldn't stop helping anybody and all these guys had one-on-ones, it was like set, hut, sack, and Burrow, who's a great pocket moving quarterback. Like he has awesome instincts in the pocket. He was running for his dear life. But as a defensive guy, I hate to see empty because it just makes you declare so many things. It's really hard to disguise
especially
anything.
Out of those
kind of
odd
undress
structures
yourself a little bit.
where you're trying to walk 5 up.
Yeah, especially out of odd.
Like that.
I got the EPA out of empty if you want.
If any time they were in the penny shit, I would have just went to empty. Unless you wanted to run the ball.
Yeah.
I would have waited for them.
Which in their penny stuff was almost impossible to do. I don't think they had almost any success running against penny at all because, like you said, it's 5 for 5, and you got 5 inferior run blockers trying to block superior athletes and just better players. And so, like, if I was Cincinnati, as soon as I saw them in penny personnel, there should have been like a penny personnel game plan. Like, hey, as soon as they get in penny, we're going to spread them out. We're going to go empty. We're going to make them declare their intentions. We're going to use formations to put our good inside receivers on these linebackers now who have to cover. Because really, like in the penny stuff, there's only real 2 zone cut. Like, okay, you could bring double edge and play fire zone or man, which they did. Right.
Good. Have fun and empty doing that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck.
They did it and actually did it, and you could see the linebacker has to apex. He's supposed to take three up and out, and he's apex, and he's looking in the backfield. I'm like, just run option routes and we'll go into penny. So penny, real quick. Yeah. Penny is the shit that Fangio started at the Bears, to my knowledge. They didn't have it at the Niners. It is 3-3-5 personnel, and it's usually odd front structures. The front will change, and watch you talk about that because Morris has evolved it a little bit. This year, the Broncos did it by walking up a stand-up 3 technique, but you're getting into bare fronts. The rule is usually if there's a 2-man surface, the defensive tackle plays in a 2 technique. There's a 3-man surface, he goes to a 4-eye. Sometimes they'll shade the nose. They'll pull the under, and that's what Raheem Morris did. Is he started lining up an under out of penny personnel, and using the safety down in the box to provide like the second linebacker. But the asinine thing of it is like it's high. It is great versus 11 looks. It is not good versus 10 looks. It is fucking horrible versus empty. And they were just like right into their hands. And the crazy part is this game. What drove me insane about it, I don't want to take anything away from LA because they did a great job, but they had him early. They had him by the ass, and it was like their nuts dipped in the cold pool and shriveled up, and they just didn't want any part of it anymore. And what I don't look, man, I've watched a lot of NFL games this year. And I'll watch a game and be like, oh man, you probably would want that play back, or this play, or this play, or this play. The whole plan sucked. The whole plan in the second half. Like I would, like if you could have that. Like when I think about my coaching career, I think about games. There are only a few games where I'm like, we got the whole thing wrong, and I think they got the whole thing wrong in the second half. And you could see it happening, and slowly. And that was, I think, what was the hardest part about watching the game is the commercials were great. But it was like, death by 10,000 paper cuts because it was happening in slower in real time because the game is longer because of all the commercials. And you're just sitting there and going, you could see it coming from a mile away. It was like, I was texting with a few people and I'm just like, they're just trying to run the clock out. Like, with 11 minutes left in the game or in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it was like they scored that touchdown coming out. They scored right out of the gates in the second half, right? And then
first play, and
it
then
was
got
like,
and then
oh,
got an
shit.
interception on the first defensive play.
Yeah, because I went to the bath. That's what it was. I watched the halftime show. I went to the bathroom and I came back and the Bengals had the ball already. And I was like, wait, what just happened? Like, and they were about to score. They were like walking into the end zone. I'm like, what just, is this a replay? Like, what is going on? But anyway. All right, we're 20 minutes in. We haven't even turned on the film yet. If somebody wants to know where your dog is, Ted.
The dog?
Two questions. Where's your dog? And when is the last time you've had delicious... Oh, no, it was yesterday. You had some oven... brick oven.
I made a heart-shaped pizza for my my girlfriend yesterday.
That is love right there. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to
But I got the EPA for empty if you want. EPA per drop back per empty. So EPA per drop back overall in the game was a negative 0.18. EPA for empty was 0.36. So way better from empty.
And I could have told you that. I mean, you could just see it. I mean, some of this shit, like, some of it, you need to see the numbers because it can hide. But that was just like in plain sight. I remember before the game, I think it was like the first play they were in empty. I'm like, they're gonna set the record, and they had Chase on the linebackers because they would only move Ramsey inside out of certain personnel groupings. If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on this, they didn't move Ramsey inside out of Penny. Last year they only move him inside, but they move him inside out of Penny because he was the extra run defender. In certain, or no, I think it was the other way around. I think it was it was a nickel. They had him inside because he had to provide edge presence. But Penny, because it's contained by the two edge dudes, they'd move him outside. So there's your other advantage of you put Chase in the slot, you got them in Penny, Ramsey standing outside. They had some guy I couldn't even find on the roster, Mike Thomas, is like standing outside and Ramsey's covering him. And I'm just like, do this every play. And they're like, nah, we're cool. We're going to get in the shit where he goes and covers Ramsey. And we're going to the best is, if you're going to 7-man protect, like Ben said, and I know their run game isn't very expansive out of 11, so it's hard to, like, they know it's coming, basically, when you get in it. Like, even though I know running the ball doesn't affect play action success, but when you know for sure they're not going to run the ball, like... I mean, they didn't even like full slide protect, like slide and get two off the edge. It was like it was half slide protection and two check releasing guys. So now those edge defenders could really sell that they were coming up field before they had to drop. It was insane. Anyway, let's just get to the film because I'm just gonna. It's making me insane.
Yeah. I'm surprised the screen game wasn't a bigger part of the game too, because the Rams were one of the worst screen defending teams in the league, and they ran a ton of screens in the championship game and almost none this game.
I don't get it because, especially with the Penny stuff, with the guys walked on the ball, all you have to do is beat that. There's like the dual screen. I call it dual screen, where you get the tailback flare screen in the field and you get like tunnel screen away from it. There's only certain ways you can beat that in quarters. I mean, we had some really good defenses that played quarters, and we still got shit on by that play. I think I texted that or tweeted that too about like June Jones. Like, I know that RPOs are in vogue and all that stuff, but like, what happened to screens? And I know in football, also in the pros, there's different rules about releasing downfield. But what happened to like tunnel screens? You know, what happened to that shit?
No,
anyway.
that was one of the Bengals' favorite answers against blitzes throughout the season too, and it just kind of went away in this Super Bowl game.
Well, and they screwed themselves because Joe Shiesty, or whatever the hell they call him, is great when you're getting blitzed on first and second down. When it's 3rd and 9 and you want him to throw quick and you can just tackle his ass short of the sticks, like, because they were screwing themselves by getting in this like 13 personnel or 12 with the extra lineman or whatever. It was just insane. Anyway, let's get to the film so I can complain some more. All right, so you got the first play. You got motion away from the nickel, so they motion out. Mixon to be the number 1. So early on, I marked where Chase was. Okay, so you're getting Penny. This is Penny Sam 4. So the Sam would be to the nickel here. So Miller's going to rush off the edge. You're I forget they call him the Will. No, what do they call him? Yeah, it's the will. Will walk off because they have different names depending on the personnel group. I mean, they're declaring and they're moving around and shit, but you know who's coming. First of all, their pass rush is unbalanced. So one thing, if you're watching them and their load personnel, when they're in that or load looks where they got 3 to one side, somebody's always going to the other side. So first play of the game against Joe Burrow, who's great and empty, they're unbalanced in their pass rush. They got 3 to one side, 1 to the other. You got a pivot route on the linebacker who looks like he runs like me. I'm like, okay, good. We're starting off 8-yard gain. So they're trying to play.
When I saw the first play, I was like, "Uh-oh, the Bengals got a plan here today. They know what's up."
Yeah, they did. Why is there a giant NFL watermark in the middle of the screen? Do you guys see that? Or am I tripping out?
No, I don't see it.
No.
You're hallucinating.
No, it's there. I think it's behind. You know what it is? It's behind my screen, and sometimes it goes through on the Mac. All right, so now you got 11 personnel, 2nd and 2 from the 50. They're in their penny package still. You got a lever spill, lever fit, cover 3. Chase is now, Ramsey's now lined up to chase. With him going inside, he'll motion inside, and now you just got country cover 3. They run split zone, 1-yard gain. So remember this, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, shitty run, getting into 3rd and 1. The last drive of the game. That second, was it 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1 call? I wanted to throw something. So this is the adjustment that these guys have made at a penny that you didn't see last year as much, maybe at all from Staley, is they were playing the underfronts like you see for college guys. Dave Aranda does a lot of this stuff where they'll get into a bear look, but they'll shade the nose and they'll move the 3 to a 4-eye, and then they'll leave the backside 3. Now, because Dave starts in 4 eyes, we say, oh, they pull to a 3. But for these guys, they'll bump out. I mean, and they're in their weak side rotation. They're kind of screwed here. He creates the extra gap.
It's fire zone. I think it's fire zone. They're sending both guys off the edge. So 33 and 20 have to spin. The safety's got to spin on change of strength rotation because when you run this fire zone, the safety rotation is always to the passing strength. So it starts out right, and then with the jet motion, it goes left. So this is fire zone rule because they're sending both off the edge. So it's just a my man, my fit on the coverage. So on the jet right here, so everybody's coverage responsibilities are changing. So they've decided that on jet motion, they're not going to run the nickel. They're gonna bump all underneath coverage. So you've got to recount. So on the jet motion, the safety spin. So Eric Weddle, who's coming down, has the jet. He's got 83. That's his new 2. All right, 50, the middle linebacker. Who originally before the play starts, 50, this bear backer. He's got the running back. Okay, I'm sorry, he's got the tight end. Pre-snap, yeah. So on the jet, everybody changes. So now this backer now has the tight end, and the nickel is bumping into the box, and he's got the running back now. That's his new 2 on the bump. So, and then it becomes my man, my fit, right? It's 2 for 2 essentially. So whether you want to call that a banjo or whatever, okay?
Yeah, because what's going to happen is
it was man coverage.
He's going to roll through. He's going to come back. So it's going to have to change there.
Yeah, so now they change back, right? So like if this was a naked and the tight end came out into the flat, that would be Ramsey's coverage, and the backer would go back and fit to the running back, right? So if you just move the play out and say, okay, what pass play would come off this? What would be the naked? Okay, Ramsey would take the tight end to the flat, and 50 would fit the running back in the core. All right, but it's a run. So like right now you're getting split zone. So right now 50 and Ramsey are sharing the tight end in the back. They're 2 for 2, right? My man, my fit, and Eric Weddle's got the jet guy.
And because he's coming back,
but that's how that fire zone would.
It should fit like that, and he should be late.
That's exactly right, and yeah, well, 50's going to play off the nose, right? Weddle shows up because he sees the ball handed off, right? But that's Weddle's coverage running to the flat, but he sees the ball handed off,
it should
and
come back like
shows
this.
up. So. Yeah, but really, I wouldn't even count Weddle in the fit because Weddle's responsibility is the jet. So you can't count on Weddle showing up.
Well, because he would play the jet.
He's extra because he sees what happens. Huh? No, he's rushing.
Yeah, but
I think he's rushing. I think it's
so,
a 5-man. I think it's fire zone.
But either way, if he's the edge defender, you can't count him out here. You're fucked. Because if he rocks back here, it's over.
He's the edge. He's not the edge.
No, I mean, he should be. If he's your force player and they get jet, shouldn't he set the edge and he should be fitting inside of it?
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of, you can't really ask the edge rusher to set the edge on a jet. He's going to get out leveraged. Really,
that's what we did that, especially standing up that wide. I'd tell that motherfucker go right there, because otherwise, if you don't count on him in this odd spacing, right? He comes back here, and let's say he sits here and he goes out here. This guy's fucked because you got no A gap player. So you're telling him, okay, you have the A gap to inside the slice.
Well, there's a nose tackle in front of him who has one of the A gaps.
So he's got to play the other A gap, right?
Yeah.
So then Ramsey has to make the play.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but we used to do that shit all the time and set jets. I mean, they would, especially stand up like that.
So if the jet turns into a wheel, who takes it? 54?
He would play late. I mean, he's kind of chilling. If he's a running back. So this is how we taught it. That's now a running back. That's a 2-back 4. It's 21 personnel right there. You go tackle the son bitch. To me. Well, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other, because this guy can get back in here. This guy out here, it's hard for him to fall back.
Well, he's just rushing. He's the C gap defender. He's just the edge rusher.
Well, if he's a C gap defender, then shouldn't he be in here? I mean, that's why
he's playing a 9 technique, because right now it's weak rotation.
And so they play 9. He's your D gap. So right now, here's my question, and these debates are great. This is what and by the way, we're not like, this is how coaches are taught. This is how we learn, right? So my question is,
this is what it would be like if you sat in the staff room during a game plan.
So my question is, and I know he can hit it faster because it's jet sweep, but if he lined up right there, and they just ran stretch, would you let him come inside and him be outside? That's my thing. Is if he just lined up right there and they ran stretch here. Just lead stretch. Pretend this guy, you could say he's there or he's not. It's 6 one way, half dozen the other, because he's coming back. So it really doesn't matter. So that's my question: is if he's the edge, then he's got to play the edge, and then he's got to fit inside out on it.
He's the edge rusher. He's not the flat defender. 20's the flat defender.
No, I get that, but
he's got the new number 2, and you've got to understand he's going to overrun that tight end and become the 2 because it's jet motion.
Well, right, but he's outside. I guess it's just the difference in opinion in how you fit this. Because what I would say is, all right.
The other reason I say that, the other reason I want to fit it the way I'm saying is because let's say it's not jet motion, it's just change of strength motion, right? Let's just say he just slowly maneuvers his ass over into the boundary, and now it's 3-by-1 FSL. Mm-hmm. Right. So now you've got to change safety rotation, right, to run this double edge pressure. So now it doesn't matter. Like, to me, that's how I want to fit it, because now it doesn't matter.
I would just take him over and leave everything the same.
Change of strength motion, it's the same.
Yeah, but these guys,
that's the other way to handle it, is just say, okay.
These guys only, but on
we
this
would
pressure,
only adjust core motion, and if the nickel,
they run the nickel usually. They're only doing that now because it's jet, because they've scouted them, and I know like their base rules. If you get this, they're going with it, and they keep this intact. He'll still come down, but he ain't going out there.
Yeah, if you run the nickel, the rotation doesn't need to change. But that was the point, is they've decided to bump this jet motion, so now you have to fix it. Someone's got to take the jet, and now the safeties have to adjust and take the jet because the nickel's not going to take it. So now the safeties have to spin, which is what's happening, right? 20's down, 33's now in the post. And so, but my point is, I don't want 54 to run upfield and take the jet, because now that also, by rule, you've also now made him the wheel player. right? But one, by the design of the defense, he's not in coverage. He's a rusher. He's the fifth rusher.
Well, that depends. I mean, that depends. Sure, but in game planning, though, we've told guys all the time that if you get jet motion in certain situations, especially like in a fire zone, we would treat this like a peel. So go take it. And if we knew we were getting this is exactly why. Because I don't give a shit about this, because he's 5 yards in the backfield. I'm here. I start to see this. I'm gonna go take it. I don't care.
That makes me nervous, because you've got two guys who have to see a play the exact same way and do it on the fly with no communication, right? And just
yeah, sure, but we worked, like we used to play SI. We used to play 3 or 4 jet teams a year and would do that, and we would do that at even fronts. So we would say this, all right, because it's not jet sweep. First of all, the reason it's not jet sweep is
the running back's on the wrong side.
The running back's on the wrong side, and my man here, does he look like he's blocking the edge?
Nope.
No, he looks like he's ready to go and knock the shit out of somebody coming back across. We talk about this all the time. But what we would do is, if it was truly jet, we'd say fuck it, and we'd loosen these guys up, and we would try to hit this thing where you couldn't run a wheel. And you'd basically run into it, and then it'd be like stopped, and then this is where you get guys that are doing this shit now. Well, then they'll insert a guy and do all this. Anyway, all right. Anyway, that was a real live debate on how to fit fly sweep. Now we're 2 plays in and 36 minutes in. Let's move on. Sorry.
My bad.
No, dude. That's what this is here for. This is the first time you and I have gotten into like a back and forth with how we do things, and this just shows there are different ways to do this shit. And
like I said earlier, we say all the time, well, we're not sitting in the staff room. We didn't game plan. What Vass and I just had is a game plan discussion. Like, okay, how
probably
are we
a very similar
jet?
Discussion that took place.
Yeah,
for that play,
the Rams coaches likely had that conversation, right? How are we going to handle this week?
All right, so you got Ramsey on Chase. So this is the first 3rd and 1. Inside zone, 0 gain. Does that look familiar to the fucking later on in the game?
I don't know why did he not throw this little line RPO out here? He's got this thing wide open.
Okay. Bama calls it street, I think.
Yeah, he's got this little line RPO wide open right here in the flat. And again, like here they go changing the safety rotation on the jet.
It looks like they both look at this. So you get the same thing, but he didn't go back. So what Weddle's doing is, I think what he's doing is he's keying the back. He's looking for the back, because a lot of these
also
guys
knows it's 3rd and 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like we said in previous,
and he's one of the smartest players in the NFL.
Well, and like we've said in previous episodes, when you get these situations like this, you don't know what they're being told. You get this situation and you see him start to come back. Yeah. They may have said, hey, play it like cover 0. If you look at any of the Brandon Staley stuff, that's the first thing they say is they try to fit cover 3 like quarters. So instead of running him down the middle of the field and being extra, Georgie does this a lot too, is he's going to slow play this. It's 3rd and 1, see what's going on. But here's my question, Ben. Why doesn't this guy book his ass out to the flat right now? Like, why is he hesitating?
He's trying to bluff with the only thing I can think of is he's trying to bluff Von Miller for a split second to let him to keep Von wide so that the back can just cram it up in there and get 1 yard.
Got it. What were you going to say, Ted?
No, I was going to say something similar. Just kind of set up Von a little bit, because they do that a lot with the system where they like to mess with the edge players by jabbing at him and that kind of deal.
I wanted to know during the game what the line on was 0 sacks for the game. What would have been the odds for that? All right, so 4th and 1. So this is the problem. So just if you keep count at home, it was 2nd and 2. They got empty. It was 2nd and 2. They tried to get an 11 personnel and get cute. twice, got 1 yard, no yards. Now it's 4th and 1. File that away for later. So now they're bringing double edge. It's the same play. They're running double edge, fire zone, same shit. 3 plays in a row. Some sort of jet motion. You got Ramsey's on Chase right now. That motion forces him to get wide. So they get 8 yards in the first play, 1 yard in the next 3. Turnover on downs. Why would you?
Run plays.
Whatever.
Two run plays that go nowhere. Can't get 1 yard on 2 run plays.
Well, and here's the other thing. I knew this was a bad sign. 2 out of 3 guys on the play are open.
Yeah.
And they throw to the one guy who's covered by the best DB on the planet. Smart.
Yeah, I mean, weird. This is like 4th play in the Super Bowl. I'm nervous. I'm just going to throw it to my guy. I mean, like, I didn't like this play to begin with because, one, this is 4th and 1. I'm a little surprised. I know it's going to play basically as cover 1, right? But, you're expecting some type of either straight man or you're expecting some type of match zone where it's going to play as man. And, so this is this is an old-fashioned, spacing route, right? Like, this is a good zone beater. But there is a man component into it with the jet, right? So, you get man or match zone, throw it out there quick off this jet motion here, and you've got yourself a first down easy.
Well, and here's the other thing that's crazy to me is that's 2 plays in a row now. The flat guy has had the defense out leveraged, and he hasn't thrown the football twice in a row.
Yeah.
Where if you just turn and dump it out there, it's going for some yards. So 2 receivers in the flat. No, they're just trying to horizontally space. So they're trying to stretch out here, and then basically they just need 1 yard. So catch the ball, turn up, and he's going to fit in between this. So it's a you're not really looking at it as a flat route. I know that doesn't make sense because the back is going out. But he is looking to catch the ball and turn it up in here. So you have horizontal spacing right there. I know that looks funky at first. That was one of the questions from the chat.
It looks like the running back didn't know what's going on, and he kind of misses the snap here. Yeah. Or maybe that's what I thought when I was watching the game live, at least, that he didn't just kind of miss the snap count a bit. But yeah, I thought it was kind of weird where you have 2 guys in the flat at the same time too.
Well, my question is, what happens if you flash fake this here? I mean, he may get in that throwing lane, so Joe may not be able to say, but that back going fast pulls 50 right into the play.
Yeah.
All right, we got a 4-strong load alert versus quarters. We got Ramsey on Chase right now. 1st and 10, second series. We got quarters playing solo on the front side. Okay. So let's watch the route here. So we got 1 is coming on a 5-yard in. 2 is running an out, sail. 3 is running a bender or a post, and the back is swinging. So you're going to get this, and this. How this should play in quarters. The hardest thing in quarters is the nickel. He's getting some sort of China or smash call, and he's getting a push call, so they have to push through the zone. So what should happen is the corner should make this in China smash call, play to the out. The safety sees 2 go vertical. They should double the out. The weak safety here pushes for the bender. And what should happen with 4-strong pushing is we always said, we called it China, and we called this fast thing money. So we said money always beat China. So, because we would tell our nickels, hey, if you get a China call, you have to play man-to-man basketball. And number 1, that's a Gary Patterson thing. But if you get a fast 4, fast 3, whatever, you would push out. So this next backer would take this route, and then he'll give some body presence on this over route. And then this is the advantage of having probably the best corner in the NFL locked up backside. Now, the Rams play this almost perfectly, except for my guy here gets sucked inside, and they're able to outflank the defense. Now, if this is a better placed ball, if he turns and throws this quicker, and he leads him instead of throwing it behind, he can catch this on the run. There's some yardage there. But because he has to stop and dance, no gain. But that just shows, like, you always hear these cliches about the NFL as a game of inches and shit. If he turns and he throws this now and he blocks one of these guys, now you got an open field tackle with 10 yards of space, right? Because this guy right here took a step or two inside too far. 1 or 2 steps, that's all it takes. I mean, let's watch it again. They were really physical on the slots in the game, and this is a byproduct of that. You get so preoccupied with knocking number 2 and hitting 2, you don't see anything coming out. And then with Burrow not putting this ball right here, again, a yard, and he can run onto it, he has to kind of stop. He has to reach behind him. He has to gather, and that buys everybody time. So it's just a simple example, a small example of how the margins in this game is so short. I also don't understand why he's reading backside. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to see Weddle to see if they're doubling and look to throw a one-on-one ball, but the thing there is he's looking off the linebacker, but there's nothing coming in here. Like, I don't where his eyes are going.
I almost, when I first saw that, I had the same question, like, what's he looking at? My only thought was that he would be expecting cover 8 here, and he's looking at Weddle to see if Weddle's going to push strong. I mean, they have a cover 8 beater because they're trying to high-low the corner with the 5-yard in by 1 and the 10-yard out by 2, right? They're trying to make the corner think it's final 5 and squeeze that back and then throw the out route over his head. And then occupy Weddle by running 3 down the chute.
Let's talk about that.
But
so what coach is saying here is they play a lot of cover 8, which if you've listened to us, we call this the Fangio tree calls this. And I know Raheem Morris has worked at other places. He was at Tampa and all this stuff, but they're running the Staley defense by way of came from Fangio. Cover 8 is half quarter, which you see in the NFL a lot. And what they're trying to do is what coach means by the final 5 is this corner in this coverage, because the nickel is walling 2, the corner has to take 2 back in. Now you can pass that off, and we would, but they're trying to hit this out route here in this void. And that's what coach is trying to say here. All right, here we got, I call this the NFL empty check because you only see this in the NFL, and the NFL is the only level of football stupid enough to try to pull it off. So it's fucking empty, and they're in quarters, and they're pushing this guy strong. Like, what insane bullshit is this? Like, I laughed when I saw this.
I honestly, I don't believe people in the NFL could do this. Like, I still think this is weak buzz. And the post players lean into chase because there's no – that is so – there's no – like what Vass, I think what you're saying is they're playing stubby and poach versus empty, and then you basically have to play zero backside.
No, I don't even think they're playing stubby. I think they're playing quarters. I think they're playing quarters, and they're just –
the only reason I didn't feel that way is because of the safety. Like when you play country-ass quarters versus trips – like either the Mike has to take 3 up or 3 vertical, in which case the safety could just be on top of 2, in which case he's not. No, I'm talking about to the trip side. He's not even aligned.
Well,
to
I think
that.
because here's
3.
what I saw: 3's on the ball, and when they do this a lot, they bring somebody inside. So I think he pre-snap cancels this because you'll see him play it differently when 3 is off versus 3 being on, and right there it's over. I don't think it's cover 3 because if it's 3 deep, he needs to overdrop 3 to bang back to this.
Yeah, like the only reason I thought it was 5 or 9 grab or whatever you want to call it is because that just seems insane to me. That you would play it that way. I mean, like that's Weddle, and he is like I've heard stories about how incredibly intelligent he is. And how many things he can get in a game plan, and he might just know what's coming, right? And he's playing the play because he's that smart, because he knows where they're lined up and what play he's going to get. That is entirely possible as well. But like to me, this is weak buzz and the backer screws up and doesn't overdrop 3. Because, like, if you were, like, that very first play where they're playing quarters and you empty away from the nickel. So, you've got an outside backer. You can't play stubby over there, right? So you got to play like old school quarters where, like, the safety's midpoint in 2 and 3, the corner's midpoint in 1 and 2, right? And you're hoping that your pass rush takes care of that. So, like,
I don't think they're doing that at all because here's their adjustment.
But the safety's alignment to the trip side doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't look like it could be stubby, right? Like, based on the way they're aligned right here, this could be stubby, and it would kind of play. This is how stubby would play out to the 3-by-1 side, right?
But they don't don't play stubby as their empty check. It's quarter. What they usually do is they'll play quarters. And what they'll do is they'll put the backer on 3, like we saw the Niners. However, because the running back is over here, what they're basically doing is they're playing quarters. This is their base way of playing it. Now, I don't know if this is how they're doing it here. This is just what I know from knowing guys around there and whatever. Is they're not playing country quarters. He's playing inside because 3 is on the ball, so he's expecting to have to take 3. He's looking to number 3. He is playing 2. He is playing 1. He is playing quarter flat. And they're manning this because they're saying, all right, this back's not going to go vertical. So you're just going to be, and also study on formations. He's the inside guy, right? So he's going to go out or he's going to option. You man this sumbitch up. And that's how they do it. Now, again, you could be completely right. I just know that is their camp rules. Although I know that's not a linebacker. I think they made, because they have different checks, and I forget the name of it, but they have an alert. I can't remember it. Shit. Staley did it last year. If 3 was on and 2 was off, they would basically turn it into, they would know something was coming. Anyway, we'll move on. Ted, I haven't heard from you in a while. Give me some thoughts so far on how this game's going.
No problem. No, I was just listening to your arguments, and I was just wondering what the safety was doing, if it was 3 buzz on the trip side. But I'm here to learn from you guys too. I mean, I need to get better at this defensive terminology. So part of the reason I'm here is to learn from you guys, and I'm interested.
So here's our vaunted. Let's get in a 7-man protection. Here's the other thing. Real quick, and then you can go, Ben. Here's the other thing. The empty that this shit screws the offense. Okay. When you get a guy blocking in here, who's clearly a tight end, you can do all this shit. They can do all these games and all this shit, and you can fuck around. But when you empty, you try to do some TE stunt. This guy right here is gonna say "see ya" and he's gone. He does
that later in the game for a first down.
You keep bringing people into the box, and you're gumming everything up. He can't get out of there. And if he does squirt through, you got guys clamping down on it. That's what, like, just watch this from the end zone. Like, there's one of these stunts where if it was empty, he'd be out of there. This shit. You cannot do this in empty. What this is, and we used to call it, this was a Dick Bumpus to call it FedEx. And back in Miami, they call it Cha-Cha. That's an old school. That goes back to like Jimmy Johnson. So they're running an ET game, but what they're doing is they're doing it out of the 3 technique. So he's going to come inside, and then he's going to pop. Let me tell you something. You try and do this versus empty, this guy right here is out the fucking gate. Watch how long this takes to run its course. Sorry. I don't think you're doing that. I don't think you can pull that shit off versus empty. I just don't. And this is what was making me insane. These running backs have not done any favors to Burrow either. They look confused. They're all like looking around and shit.
Yeah,
all right, this is the other thing. First play of the next drive. They call this tough wheel 6. 6 to these guys is quarter half. And we'll get to, there's a call that they have. We don't see it a whole lot, but we'll so first snap. 12 personnel, 13 yards on outside zone because these guys are trying to play.
I have two questions, Vass.
What's that?
All right, so middle of the field. All right, how are they going to declare where the quarter side is now? Like, okay, so game plan, two tight ends. You're going to say, okay, we're going to set it to this tight end, right? This is their stud, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they declaring this right and left, and then like on motion, are they going to change the cloud side or like? Because there looks like to me like in the secondary, there's a little confusion here.
Right. So here's what I think is happening. Okay. Oh shit! Did I lose my?
Uh-oh.
Here's what I think is happening. Give me 1 second. I'm losing some shit over here. Let me switch cameras real quick. So, if you go and you look at this, see if I can pull this up for you. I don't know what the hell's going on. We'll figure it out. Can you guys see my... Oh, no. We're back on YouTube. Whoops. Okay. So, I don't know if they're doing this here or not, but this is something that you see a lot of. They have a coverage. It's called roll luggage. Okay. I don't know if they're doing it this... And this is one of those deals you'd have to see a lot of this, but there wasn't enough sample size. Roll luggage, and they also have a sub concept called Zeus, which I think we've talked about before. So what they're going to do is they're going to run the defense based off of where Ja'Marr Chase is. Okay? Front and coverage. So it goes together. So the secondary rotation, it's not really a rotation, but the secondary is going to be called to the number or direction called. So they could call roll luggage 1. They could call roll luggage left. They could call roll luggage right. And I think, again, I don't know. I'm not in those meeting rooms, so I'm not quite 100% sure. But I think that's why they motion Chase a lot. Because I think they knew they were rolling the Chase, and they try to bring it back across and confuse him. Because you saw this a lot in this game. This is a textbook Fangio Staley deal. So they're going to go, and then they'll have different calls based on if it's single or double width. Okay? So they'll make the call, and then what it's going to be is it's going to be quarter, half to the main guy. Okay? Now it's double tights, so that presents a little bit of a problem with how you're going to set it. Okay? That balances things out. You know, could you kind of see some of the issues here. And I don't think they run a lot of it with double tights, like one back, but we'll see. So they're going to roll. They're going to set the 3 technique and the coverage to the side of Chase. Okay? So right now, because, and this is what screws me up, because they're even though Vic and all those guys are 4 down guys, it all goes back to the 3-4 in the underfront. So they'll call the strength right, even though it's left, because they're going where they're going to set their nose, not where they're setting their 3. Like Venables, that's what screws me up when I study Venables, right? Because he's always like, the call, if he calls bench defense, he wants the 3 technique to the bench, but he calls it right because he's setting, like if the bench is to the left, he'll call it right because that's where he wants the nose to go. So it's like a backwards thinking process. So they're going to set the 3 technique and the coverage to Chase. So they're going to play quarters, and they're going to play halves over here, and they're going to set the 3 technique over here. But when they motion, I think that's where maybe some of the confusion is, because they're still playing quarter, half, but now again, it's a cross motion, but he's not in a position to go vertical. But really what should happen is, Weddle should go now. And I know that they're more worried about it's the NFL. They're more worried about, downtown play action, all that crap. But, if you're coaching mere mortals against mere mortals, that safety, that tight end blocks, you trigger your ass. And because he doesn't, Mixon gets through, and he gets 13. So, and we'll go through the sub version of this too in a little bit. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And I could go into all the. I don't want to bore everybody. I mean, because it gets really intense. This is not an easy call,
Yeah,
but
the luggage stuff can get complex.
it takes care of it. Okay, if you've watched this channel before, you know this is one of my favorites. It's one of the most simple and effective pressures out there. It's called the Whip Fire Zone. Got a whole video on it. Check it out. Basically, what's going to happen is usually run at a 3x1. You're going to bring it to the weak side. If it's 2x2, you want to come to the back. So the end to the back is going to go. The nose is going to cross. You're going to get a one-on-one here. Because this guy is here, this guard is going to have to step down. And you should get a one-on-one on the back. The three technique is going to go for contain. Because the tight end is in the core, this is called a bonus fire zone. So it's actually what would most people call a simulated or a creeper. Miller should drop outside. The backer should be inside. And it's 3 deep. Now, 3x1, they're going to rotate weak, but it's still going to be the same thing. You want your rotation away from the nickel because your nickel is going to be here. Your backer's going. So the blitz is not tied into the rotation. It is always weak side rotation. Sorry, I drew this backer here. He should be working this way.
Yeah, the field end is going to drop.
So they have the field end dropping here? It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
These two should go because if he drops, then he can come back and pick this up. So if they did that, they screwed up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of 3x1 where the field end drops. Yes.
Yeah.
3x1, the field end drops. But if he drops, that tackle will just go okay and bang back down, and then they'll pick that up.
And you're wasting your time.
Interesting though, because again, and this is what drives me absolutely fucking insane about Raheem Morris sometimes is this guy. Compared to this guy, ain't worth a broke dick. I mean, this is what drives me insane. Okay, we're going to drive. Yeah. I mean, he blitzes like it's freeze tag. Okay, I'm going to blitz now. Oh, I got touched. I'm out. I mean, come on, bro. And you're dropping Von Miller out. That's the shit that drives me insane. They run the old 989, what Saban and a lot of people call dancer. Middle read. It's got I think they call it doubles at LSU. Streaks on the outside. Going to read the bender at the middle of the field. What's that?
They call it doubles in the West Coast offense, too. And then they just tag what the outside route is. This was an unbelievable catch, man. Holy smokes.
Let's see if we can get a good look at it from the ends of the
But again, so just a reference, okay, here's one. They took a shot, and they got a big play. Right, here it is. Here's 7-man pass protection. All right, it's a real easy concept. Burrow's been running this since LSU, this same concept. Throw the 9 route to your buddy and let him make a play. So there's one. All right, there's 7-man pro, take a shot. There's one. They're 1 for 1, big completion.
All right, we're going to fly through these red zone plays because the problem with red zone coverage is there's so many of them and they're so bastardized. I think it's just they're just playing quarters.
Coverages are hard to figure out sometimes.
Yeah. Woo. PFF, I love it. They just go RZ for coverage because it's like it's smart. You will drink. You want to make yourself crazy.
That's how you have to do it.
Ted, you want to make yourself insane? Try to figure out goal line coverages,
or
like low red zone, like zone match coverage. I stopped like when I tag defenses once they get in like the side the 10-yard line, and I'm like it's horse shit. I just tag like RZ, move on,
bro. Even if you look in that Saban Dolphins playbook, in the like you got to go to the way back.
The 23 personnel combo coverage where there's just it's like okay, there's dotted line. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can do it here, but it's like okay, this guy has this guy, but they're both reading this guy, so they're both going to combo this guy.
If this guy goes to the flat first, it plays like this. If this guy goes to the flat first, it plays like that.
It's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's totally mind-blowing.
I'm going to blow through these. You just get switch curls, which they must have been expecting 3 deep down here because this is not exactly a quarters. They must have been expecting man free or 3 because this is not exactly the play you want to run versus red zone quarters out of condensed splits.
One thing you see a bunch of in the NFL that you don't see much of in college, and so I'm asking, like, what do people do in high school? Because, like, in college – almost nobody will play middle of the field close coverage in the red area because, like, the post player, there's no room to overlap. He's got no depth, so he can't cover any ground, right? So, like, okay, you might double with him. You might put him on an extra on the quarterback, right, for Q run game.
Well, it's 1st and 10, so I would take my chances, but like we did what Georgia did, which is we just called zero free rat, which told the guy to just rat at the sticks, play outside leverage, funneling inside, never get deeper than halfway in the end zone until the ball's thrown.
Okay, because like you're watching red zone cut-ups, you see guys playing like red zone cover 3 on the 4-yard line, and the post player 7 yards deep in the end zone.
That's a fireable offense.
Yeah, and you're like, what's this guy going to fucking do?
Nothing. He's going to do absolutely nothing.
You're playing with 10 guys at that point.
But they switch it. Everybody switches. It's this. They must have had. This must have been a tendency breaker for them on defense, because this literally might be one of the worst calls you could ever run. All right, so we get a little 6-man pressure. The Fangio guys call this bubble. It's just they actually changed it for this one. It's usually defensive tackles, they line up and over, pinch to the A. For your TCU aficionados, it'll be bullets B. But I think they hit in the A gap on one side.
Yeah, I mean, this is like day one, zero blitz. Like line up in your cheat front rules, and then backers, you guys are blitzing the 2 open gaps. Safeties, you've got the tight ends and the running backs. This is a good combo here by the 2 safeties, right? So 20's got the tight end, 33's got the back, but they're on the same side. So when you get the fast back, they push it, right? So now 20 takes the back, and 33's got to get over here and play 87. So this is a good, in our defense we call this combo, right? Anytime it was 2 safeties working together. This is a good 2 for 2 here by the 2 safeties in a zero blitz.
Yeah, and if you ever played for me, you know there'd be a silver. This is what we played our ends very differently, and I think it's because we're a 4-down team, which I know doesn't make any sense, because you usually think, all right, if you're a 3-4 team, you're going to play your edge guys differently. But we did a lot of coverage stuff with our guys. So when we would run this, we would never have, maybe in the red zone is like a change up, but he would take it. And what would happen is we got a team, this is high school now, 4th and 11, we ran this exact blitz, and the hot was throw the back, because we had the D end on the back. And so they threw a hot to a swing route on 4th and 11. Was tackled for a 1-yard gain. I was like, well, that's pretty good. I'll take that. Here's another clip.
Jazz, I gotta run. I told you only could do an hour, unfortunately, but hopefully I could join you next time for longer.
Yeah, man. Sorry, we got into a spirited debate on one call. It went forever, and you're just like sitting there like, what am I doing?
Hey, I was learning from you guys, so all good, no problem.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. I'm going to take this moment to send a little message to the channel, the Discord, to let them know we're on. I forgot to do that. Ted, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. All right,
yeah,
see you
thanks
guys.
for being here, Ted.
All right, we're going to do a smooth transition to camera 2. Look at that, becoming a pro.
Hey.
All right. No, it's. Do I want to delete the 2 camera scene? No, I don't. Thank you very much. Don't want to delete this. All right, let's get back to the film. All right, let's blaze through some of this shit. All right. Here's another.
This was just cover 1 here.
Really? I thought this was. To me, this looked like quarters poach. Interesting.
Well, the only reason the only reason I'm saying it's not quarters is because the nickel stays locked on his man, and the safety takes 3 to the flat.
Could be. This is the hard part. Is like, because in quarters, this I was kind of alluding this earlier. Some of the quarter stuff, they were playing really heavy, that nickel, like almost playing like press man, which we have done. We used to call it bang. And so it distorts the picture, because it looks like it's man there, but zone everywhere else. And I think for those of you coverage sleuths out there that like enjoy doing this stuff, it's gonna fuck you up. Because to me, like I would think this is quarters. You know what I mean? Now I know he takes 3 out, so I get it, but it's one of these deals where. Like I completely understand what Ben's saying as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I mean, that's a good defense.
And then
I
like
mean,
like if the other reason I don't think it was quarters is because if it was 51 or whatever would be working to the trips, but he's just ratting the quarterback right here.
yeah, true.
Right? He's just playing eyes. You know.
Yeah.
But again, like single high the other reason it's confusing is because okay, so let's assume they're playing some version of single high in the red area. Like, what do you do with the post safety? He's got no depth, so he can't overlap. So now you come up with stuff like this where it's like, okay, hey, we want you to basically be an extra rat to Chase, right? So Chase is number one in the bunch. So he's working over here because the corner's going to play heavy outside and they're trying to like form a bracket. Or maybe they're expecting some kind of level like traffic beater here. So the safety's going to come, play. He's going to be like the rat in the hole, and the backer can just play eyes of the quarterback. There's so many different variations down in the red area. Literally anything you come up with, you could probably pull it off, and it would be hard for people to figure out exactly what your rule is.
Well, and here's the other thing. Couple little pieces of information. One, people say all games are the same. You prepare the exact same way. No matter level game. Bullshit. BS. You may think you do. Your practice structure may not change, but subconsciously, it's the Super Bowl. And plus, you've had 2 weeks to prepare. Yeah. So even the bye week teams in the first round, they had an extra week, but you don't know you're going to play. These guys had 2 weeks. And I know there's a lot of shit with the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of media and stuff with the players. But them coaches, they're not doing media. Maybe the head coaches. Maybe that one day where they come to the facility. I don't know how they do it. They used to do it a long time ago. The league
forces them to do the media. That's it.
Yeah. You think Lou Amoroto or whatever his name was out there, or Raheem Morris is out there, talking to SB Nation? No offense to anybody. I'm just using them as an example. Like, no, they're not. Like, they're prepping. They're in the hotels. Well, I'm sure the Rams stayed on there. I wonder if the NFL let the Rams practice their facility. Or if they're like, no. You already get a home game. You got to go. Like, I'm sure they let them do it. The
facility's in Thousand Oaks. It's not even close to the stadium.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. We'll do some sleuthing.
Yeah, not only do you have extra time to prepare, you have some time to get a little self-scout in there. So you're looking at all your own tendencies through the playoffs and through the late part of the season. Maybe you could even – if you've got enough people, you could do a full season self-scout and say, man, we've got some major tendencies. We're going to break them in this game because they're game planning off this stuff.
Now, I know this isn't empty, so I want to add one big caveat. I wish I would have added this earlier. I know this isn't empty, but this type of shit where 3 is fast and they're trying to pick these two right here.
You don't have the film up.
Yeah, I do. Just kidding.
There it is.
So we're empty right here. I mean, we're 11% look here, but he's going here. He's out fast, getting these 5 outlooks where they're getting out now, and they're trying to pick this. And this is funny. So Ben and I, we've been on almost lockstep every single week. There's been maybe 1 or 2 calls where I'm like, I don't know, man. We had a lot, just comparing notes, a lot of disagreements, and I don't think it's like, I think people are fucking up. I think that's what's happening. Because like, when you try to figure out coverages, right? When you try to figure out coverages, they come in patterns, right? So you're looking for patterns. Okay, so you got press, off, middle of the field. And what should happen is, if they're going to, these two guys have the back. He has the tight end. If it's cover 1, right? And then you could possibly do a banjo here. A banjo being if they have a really good running back in space, if he's fast and he's more of like a stick option guy, okay, I'm going to come out and play him, and I'm going to take this guy. Now, I don't know if this is like one hole, but it doesn't make sense. On 1st and 10, watch this. Maybe Weddle's just a little rusty. Or maybe he thought because he was going inside and he was going out, they combo the tight end between the tight end in the back between the 2 backers. And the safety just fucking does this. I don't know what this is. I don't know if they're like what is this?
I don't know if this is like okay, so
even if it's cover 1, even if it's cover 1, okay, you need to be outside leverage. You need to have help in here. So if 3 is fast, I can work over the middle, right? Considering this guy would be in the coverage. But because he's expecting help inside. Now, he can undercut late, but that's a problem. Like, what the hell is this? And they do it in a couple plays later. In fact, you put bust on 3rd and 7 in the Super Bowl, and I laughed.
I put a lot of semi-passive aggressive notes this week.
The only way you would fit this up. So this is where we talk about like coverages come in patterns. If I didn't know any better, okay, and this is for you guys that aren't here just to hear what we think, but like you're trying to do this stuff too, and you're trying to learn how to analyze film. If you were to erase those 2 cats and you just showed me the underneath, I'm like, oh, it's 2-man, right? Except maybe not the corner pressed up, but techniques and coverages are different, especially with a guy like Ramsey. No, I'm sorry, Ramsey's up top. You got some good DBs. They're at the NFL level. They know how they want to play. One of the hardest I've ever laughed was hearing Nick Rapone when I asked him, so how do you teach Patrick Peterson press and the other guy how to play off? And he goes, I don't teach them. They know what to do. I just shape them. Because when you get a guy like Patrick Peterson, he knows he knows what he's going to do, and you help him. But I wasn't going to convince Patrick Peterson to play off, nor would I. But so you're looking at this crap, and you're like, all right, this has got to be 2-man. If you just watch the underneath guys, and they're banjo and near back, tight end, okay, pass alert, right? Unless you're a heavy zone cut team, but if you're going to do that, you're going to take the Y off. So he has different angles. So alert pass. These guys play exactly like 2-man, but this guy's straight back, and this guy's sitting in a hole doing God knows what. Ben, am I crazy here? What is going on?
I don't like. There's a few possibilities that cross my mind. One, okay, like the Bengals have used this quite a bit, right? The tight end attached near back set, and then they give you a fast 3. That's happened a couple times already in this game. I would imagine that was probably in the game plan.
Yep.
So maybe they've decided, okay, look, when we play cover 1, okay, they're running a bunch of this kind of rub pick spacing concept where if we just play man, we're in trouble. So
right.
we're gonna cut the rat, and the rule is gonna be, hey, if you get near back set, tight end on the ball, okay, you're gonna cut that to that side right there, because if not, you're just gonna get yourself picked. Okay, so they basically are. It plays out just like you said in 2-man. It would play the same way. So right now, by rule, Weddle's got the tight end, and the inside backer's got the back, and the inside backer to the field is the rat. But when they push this and 3 goes fast, the inside backer opens to that side and says, first guy to me, I'm ratting. And then that backer right there that you just highlighted, he'll go to the flat and take the back, right? Which really, if that happens, it frees Weddle up, right? So like, and I obviously I don't know anything about Eric Weddle, but like there's been a couple coaches who have coached him talk about how incredibly smart he is. Not only is he smart, he can communicate his intelligence to everybody else on the field. So like maybe this is some next level stuff where he's like, hey, if they're fast over here, right, I know I could be getting slants to the field, right? We're going to get a bunch of quick game here. So I'm going to go cut and be the rat in the middle of the field, right? Like maybe this is some crazy shit here by Weddle. I have no idea.
Which is insane because Burrow, I mean, it's the same thing you do in quarters, right? You fast flow, especially in penny when you've committed 5 down. You've committed 5 down on the line of scrimmage.
Right.
You flare the back goes this way, you throw right off his ass. I mean, this is a tale. Yeah. I got Tale as Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast stuck in my head right now. Because as you're talking, I'm like humming Tale as Old as Time, fast back, throw the right behind him. I mean, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is some high. It's either really high level or it's a bust
or
by somebody.
Overcoaching. Yeah.
Yeah. Either we're giving somebody way too much credit, or this is just a simple error. It's hard to say.
And I get all this other stuff. What I don't understand is, and again, this all makes sense, but here's what's weird. This is what makes me think Weddle's supposed to take this guy. Look at his eyes. He ain't playing that
he's
guy
staring right
man.
At the quarterback. Yeah, I know that's the other thing.
I
he's
think
staring right
honestly,
at the
if Occam's razor, right? I think he busts because 6 guys are doing one thing and one guy. But the problem is, and this is why this is why DB coaches. Let me give you a PSA. I know I haven't coached in a couple years, but trust me, the next time we're in spring practice, if you're a guy that's used to Oh, Jesus. Mike McDonald from the Ravens is calling me. I'll call you back, Mike. So stand now. I'm all like, why is Mike calling me? Stand back here.
And
Watch their eyes. I don't know how guys
Yeah.
coach 30 yards down the field. I don't understand it. And I know they got the double stripes here, but now you really see it. Maybe we should have watched the end zone first, but that don't look like he playing man. Like they're comboing this. I know he's peeking back, but he is playing with man presence, and you'll get that
Right.
all the time. One of the hardest things in high school to do is guys to be eyeing ball, and their target goes away from the ball, and they want to look back inside. But
Yeah.
I don't get it. All right, let's move it along. We got some under. All right, let's see. Chase is not in the game now, so this may change their plan on what they're going to do. Because I was trying to count if they were doing the luggage stuff to Chase or not. This is just, it's either quarters or it's 3 deep. So this is funny because I put 3, Ben put quarter, half, which could be.
Here's why. Like the alignment of these inside backers is messing with me. And then
That's what made me think it was 3. Because they're bonused way over and he's coming down. But here's the thing, and I remembered it and you triggered it right now. When I watch Fangio, okay, this is where, and I tell this all the time so people don't feel bad. I had Fangio's tags. I had the tags. If you're on the Patreon, you've seen the data, the games. I'm watching it. It says quarter, half. It is in the quarter, half cut up. I know how they play, and I'm watching. That's cover 3, and I'm having to tell myself, "Listen, dumbass, this is something you came up with. Those are their that is their information. You think I know better than their? I mean, in the NFL with all the quality control, you think somebody would fix that? And like their and I know we're talking about Vic Fangio at the Chicago Bears in 2017 and 2018. I get all that, but the apple don't fall far from the tree in these schemes. And so this is where it gets interesting, is because you don't really know what's going on. Like it smells like 3, or it could have been something where they rolled the deal back across or whatever. I don't know.
roll, go back to the wide and roll it. Let's see. Like, so look at, all right, so here you can see it right here. Look at 33. Looks like he starts out over number 2, and then look, he's going to the post, or he's rolling to the half. And I bet if you watch the corner, he's playing some kind of squat technique back there.
He is.
That's
well,
why
he like fans out.
Yeah, that and then so like, and I've played quarter, half this way versus nub sets. We made a call to do something just like this, basically to boss ourselves over, right? But like, go back to the wide. Watch the corner up top. This is another reason why I thought it was quarter, half. That's cover 2 technique from the corner.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it's quarter, half, and they're like, this guy ain't gonna go deep out of this, so you just come down and you play like 3 deep, and the corner can play off. And because again, they're doing all this jet motion, which creates some issues. But here's what it doesn't create: if you move this guy across, the only way he can go vertical is there. He can't go up through here, and you've squeezed the formation down. So yes, there are some bonuses, but you could play it like 3 and just tell this guy, listen, we have the fit inside. We have the edge. You just sit here. You take the tight end, and we'll play this like cover 3 over here, or lever, spill lever, whatever.
And this just came to me, so that this could be done here. But like you've seen, like I think the first time I saw this was in the 2014 Florida playbook, where you would play. So they're playing like half right to the field, and then if it goes 3-by-1, it basically would play like poach, because you got a nub backside. There's only one vertical threat. Right, so it could be some kind of like, hey, the corner's got number 1 man-to-man now on the motion, right? That safety in the boundary, he's basically going to poach it now, and then they can still play cloud. So it's like cloud poach, something like that on the motion is what it could be. But again, it's hard to say. And I know, like you talking about those Fangio cut-ups hits home because I've been watching them things for like the last 2 weeks. I'm almost through the whole thing, and you're right. Some of that stuff you watch and you're like, are you sure this tag is right? Like I know the tag is right. There's not going to be misinformation in that system.
Yeah.
Right, like there's not going to be wrong information in the Chicago Bears Exo system about what coverage is being played, and so like you watch some of this stuff, but then you remember how many things get changed via like the game plan, in-game adjustments that come up, all different kinds of things, and you're like, well, this is how they're going to play it. You just got to roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to pick up the pace here. I'm going to give this one explanation, and then we're going to pick up the pace because we've gotten through exactly 1/4 of the plays in 3/4 of the time that we were supposed to be on here. So we're going to start flying. I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to shut the hell up, and we're going to keep moving. Okay. So the next concept is something that the Fangio tree calls Zeus. Okay, and what is Zeus? Let me pull up the film. Okay, Zeus is similar to the I believe I called it the hands package. We talked about the ring, the finger, whatever. That was the man match version of what I'm about to show you. But this is something that quite a few teams do. But this is how they do it. Okay, it's very much like the luggage concept we talked about earlier, but this is at a sub. Okay, so what you're gonna do is the rules are, and the front doesn't really matter as much because it's sub. So 3x1. If your star player, and they usually do it to the star player, so they would call this Zeus 1. It's the same thing. It's like the zone match version, man match version of Bama's 7 special. Well, 7 special is man match, but it's a little different. So what's going to happen is, if that is your star player down here, you're going to play halves to this side and quarters to this side. And because you have a situation where if you're going to play halves with the safety, Weddle's showing down here, you'd have to put a back row and 3 vertical by himself, or you'd have to play depth and divider. Again, 3 is on the ball, so you're not really expecting 4 verts. Okay? Okay. If he is the outside piece to the 3 receiver side, now we're just talking 3x1. If he is the outside receiver to the 3 side, they're going to play halves over there. Corner's going to play squat. The safety would be in here. The backside safety. So he's basically going to play over 1 and 2. This safety would play number 3. It would end up being cover 8. Now, they don't teach it like this, but it ends up being cover 8. Now, we've talked about this before, and I talked about this at length in different mediums, so I'll go quick on it. But we talked about why you can play halves of the passing strength more in the NFL because of the narrower hashes, so the safety doesn't have to cover as much ground. And Coach Staley really made a living on this last year, especially when you have Jalen Ramsey down here at the bottom. He can be by himself. So right now in this set, you got the tight end on Ramsey. He can lock him down. And I know you might be going, well, why would you do that? Why would you put Ramsey on the tight end? It's because you're pushing literally 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to end up going back. 5 over 3. And you're playing 2-on-2 backside. Okay? So it's the Dion principle we've talked about a lot. You put your best guy and the second best guy, and then you push everybody on the other side. Now, if the star player is in here at the 2 or the 3, now things can change. Okay? So what's going to end up happening is it's going to be quarters if he's the number 2. Okay? Because then you get your safety on him. And then if he's the number 3, you can really do whatever you want. That depends on a lot of things. You really want to play solo or poach in that case. So you want
That's
to push
basically
your
how that would play
there.
anyway, isn't it? The
Right.
safety would push strong for that.
Mm-hmm. Now let's see. Now again, this would be Zeus 1, and they may carry multiple versions. I know, when Bama played Oklahoma back in the Orange Bowl, they first time I'd ever seen it, they had 155 and 122. They had it for CD and for Hollywood Brown. So this is what I think is going on. Now, they're going to do something what some teams call mask, which means you're going to show opposite coverage. So if you're going to play 2 high, you're going to line up in 1 high. If you're going to play 1 high, you line up in 2 high. So they're going to show Weddle down like it's 3 deep, which should have already been a giveaway because he hasn't lined up like that. Very few times he lined up that. He hasn't lined up like this in sub yet. Even when he's coming down to play 3 deep weak rotation, he never just lines up there.
Nah.
So now they're going to push over the top. Now, I know I just went through all those rules and I broke the rules because Chase is the number 3, so you'd want to play quarters. It really doesn't matter, though. In fact, I'd argue it's better to play halves because you'd get a double here with this guy over the top of everything. Again, they're just isolating the linebacker. And this is where zone match coverage is. I hate this shit. You're playing zone match, man match defense. These guys are looking at their guys. You're going to stare at the quarterback with the best receiver on the field. 1-on-1 right here. He runs a little juke route underneath. Get some yards. What were you going to say, my man?
I thought this was a really good call and formation by Bengals here. Like 2nd and 8, you just got stuffed on a run play. You're in 2nd and long. So they get it. So they're kind of expecting, right, split safety. It's an obvious passing situation. Right, so you would not be surprised at all to see split safety. So they get into a 3-by-1 formation, which is where they got 3 receivers to one side and the tight end backside, which will help declare a lot, right? Because if they decide to play man, right, you could easily identify that via who goes to cover the tight end in the boundary, right? And then they put Chase at number 3. So if they get their split safety like they want, right, they get exactly what they're looking for right here, right? They get Chase on a linebacker, and everybody knows, right, when you're getting ready to play the Rams, you know that you're either going to get right cover 8 or you're going to get this Zeus, which they play a bunch of, which really, versus when your guy is over to the Zeus side, it's going to play like cover 8, right? So you're using all the same coverage combination or the same route combinations to attack. And so, like, this was just a well-timed play call here by Zach Taylor, right? And using what just happened on the previous play, what you expect from the opponent, and then here's a good play to attack right here. Chase on a linebacker on a little option route, all day. I mean, this is terrible by 51. He's got the most dangerous player on the field in coverage, and he's looking at the damn quarterback like. I used to tell the safeties all the time, man, if you watch the quarterback throw it, you're going to watch this receiver catch it.
Yeah, see the ball thrown, see the ball caught. Like you used to
say. Yeah, like this is terrible.
Well, it's hard enough to cover that guy, but you're going to stare at somebody else and try and cover him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're gonna cover him while looking at somebody else, right? You're going to no look cover the guy. Like, get out of here.
All right, we're picking up steam. We got Ramsey on Chase under center, 11 personnel, 1st and 10. Outside zone weak, 14 yards. Cut it back. Joe Mixon. Shout out to the East Bay. Ooh, E40. Hits it for 14. So that, I mean, you're seeing some success. The problem is there's been we're now 16 plays in. It's gun, shitty runs, and drop back pass, or it's been under center, hand the ball off. Telegraphed what's happening way in advance.
Yeah, the Rams definitely know.
And they're not, and they're still giving a pass. But again, they're trying to play quarters. They're not, which I'd love to see them just run the ball like this. I know that they're trying to get him out of there. 67, great block here.
Yeah.
He overtakes it. He just goes and ear holes.
This is weird. Like, what is Aaron? What's Donald doing here?
I don't know. This is where he can get.
Like it could. I mean, like he's a great player. He gets some leeway in the system to do what he wants, but he's the reason that got gashed right there.
All right, we got 12 personnel.
How many times are they going?
Same thing.
This is
They're
like
going
the
to
third
motion
time
chase
they've run this
across,
play.
but they're not going to. They're going to wait and snap it. They're going to run outside zone to it. We got Penny. The backers are fucked up. Here's what I'll say. When you make the Rams defend traditional runs, gap runs, and I don't mean like gap scheme, I mean like make them account for gaps and come right at them, they struggled with it. Their alignments were all screwed. They were not adjusting to motion. How many times have we seen this? Now, last time they overcompensated. Now they're not getting out there far enough. I mean, this guy's supposed to be the whole thing about Penny is it's supposed to be contained. It's just like the bear.
Yeah.
You're supposed to fit it at a too high. This guy, the ball should never get outside of the edge. But Miller
he
gets
runs
turned.
up the field and creates a vertical seam.
Well, and what he does is he turns his shoulders.
Yeah, you can't do this.
That should have hit wide. They got lucky. Donald decided to be Megatron 2.0 that play. Because otherwise, if that's a normal human, that's going.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, if this is Joe Blow 3 technique, that's out the gate right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the ball carrier free to the corner, which is exactly what you're doing. I mean, you don't get no better than that.
All right, here's our cool 7-man, quote-unquote FIB, NFL FIB, which is not really FIB.
Hey, is this a field call? Look, the nickel's lined up to the field. Oh, wait, never mind. That's a different play. Never mind.
Well, no.
All right, so
he is lined up. He's lined up.
Oh, this is the one. All right, so last time it was 2nd and 8, and I brought up. All right,
they're dropping this guy, which is probably why they left him.
Yeah. So this was my thinking when I saw these two plays in sequence. Okay, so the last 2nd and long play, the LA Rams played split safety coverage and got beat on the option route to Chase. Okay, so now here the Bengals think, okay, it's the exact same scenario. We tried to run the ball on 1st down, it didn't work. Now we're in 2nd and long. Okay, we just torched them in split safety coverage. They're not going to play split safety coverage. They're going to play single high. So now here's a game plan play. Okay, which is what I call these little one-off plays that you probably wouldn't find this play in the playbook, right? This got drawn up by some coach at midnight on Tuesday night, right? Okay, so here's the game plan play. Like, okay, we just torched them on 2nd and long on split safety defense. They're not going to play split safety on this 2nd and long. They're going to play single high. Okay, so now we're going to run a sluggo route to Chase against what we hope is going to be single high, and we're going to try to score a quick strike touchdown in the yes, exactly, right there in the alumni section, right? This is the take a shot area. You just cross midfield, okay? Like shot plays or touchdowns down here. So here they go. They think, okay, we're going to get single high because we just beat them in split safety. So we're going to run sluggo with Jamar Chase, and we're going to try to score a touchdown right here. But Raheem Morris sticks with his split safety coverage here, and the sluggo is no good. So I thought this was a pretty interesting little play call battle here, based on what had just happened on the previous 2nd and long.
Well, and they should have killed this. As soon as they saw that, they should have done something else. Here's the other thing. And guys, for you guys don't know, alumni zone, we called it the freewheeling zone, 35 to 35. They call it the alumni zone. I didn't realize this for a decade and a half later. It's because usually where the alumni sits, they get all the good seats, which I don't know that to be true. That should be like the succession zone where all the people that own hedge fund sit. And if that's true, I'm gonna rename the red zone to the student section. Yeah. So here's the effect of Aaron Donald, though. This is fantastic. You know damn well before the ball's even snapped that Miller's dropping, right? You know, it's not even close. Yeah. By the nickel to the field, tells you that this guy has to drop. Plus, he's walked off. This dude's coming. Look at his stance. This guy ain't coming. But look what happens because Agent 99 is here. The tight end, they're 5-0ing this, meaning it's man. It's man. He's gonna look to here, and then he'll help on 99 if Miller doesn't come. This is when I tweeted out they're letting him off the hook. Okay, and then he's supposed to be coast to coast. He's reading the backer. Now you'd think, as soon as you see him drop, I mean, I don't give a shit how good you are. This is not a great place to be rushing the passer, having to be a 3 technique that contains. Okay.
Yeah.
You would think 87 would try to come back here with a 4th cut. Nope. They triple teaming one guy, leaving 3 1-on-1s. Now, he did make the play, but that's where you got to be careful, man. Like, that shit,
Yeah.
that's where you get your ass kicked. Like, if you can double team somebody and win, and you have to triple team, not a winning business model. This is Ben's thing. How are you going to bust on 3rd and 7 in the Super Bowl? This is now the 3rd time you've seen this weird ass man coverage. I think there was something that some goofy. Honestly, again, we're spitballing. I think there's some goofy shit they decided to do for this game, and then they were just like, "Fuck this," because it just didn't work out. I think they outsmarted themselves.
Might be right.
Because it's the same goofy looking shit. We got 11 personnel.
So that's Mixon at number 2 in the boundary, is it not? That's the back.
Yeah, and I don't understand what they're trying. I know they're trying to get cute, but it's 3rd and 6. If you really want, go 0-1 personnel, and they do later in the game. Put your 4th receiver in, or put some. I mean, maybe, and again, maybe Mixon's he's a good receiver. But look at it. You talking about here?
Yeah.
Or where's? No, it's a 4. Is that? I thought Mixon was a 34. Oh no, that's the rookie from Michigan, ain't it? Or is that P. Ryan?
Oh yeah, Chris Evans.
I could tell you that he ain't worth a. Look at his stance. That's a stance. When they put me in a decoy and Pop Warner, when they said, "Hey, go outside and run a go route," we're gonna throw it to somebody else. That's the stance I got in right there. I don't know. I don't know this technique. I haven't learned this one in coaching school. We hadn't learned that one yet. 3 guys. We got 3 on none. I mean, this ain't it. You know what I think they tried to do?
Yeah.
I think they were playing. No, never mind. I was gonna say no. Ignore me. I was gonna say something about match 3, but that ain't it. I think somebody's supposed to have the back. I think he's a spy. He's a spy. He's got the back, or vice versa. Don't make a shit. And they're going to run just cover 1. But Eric Weddle's superior. Eric Weddle busted a shitload. And I know he got the shit knocked out of him early. I don't know if it was before this. But don't get me wrong. Listen, he came off the street like a couple months ago or a month ago in play. But like, he almost cost their ass. There's now the 3rd time a wide open guy in the flat is there. Joe, don't take it.
Yeah. And both them backers are just looking at the quarterback.
Unreal.
Yeah. Like I said, how you going to bust on 3rd and 7 in the Super Bowl?
How about that stance, though, Coach? Look at 34. He's ready to roll.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah.
Who's got a worse stance, 75 or 34? Let's get a poll. I wish we could do like a snap poll. Like throw it in the chat.
Got a worse stance.
If you're in the chat, tell me who you think's got a worse stance, 75 or 34. 75 looks like me after I spent a week in the hospital with COVID and like I couldn't breathe and I dropped something on the floor and was trying to pick it up. That's the stance I'd get in. Try to pick up some shit. You get the loaded front. They're just rushing. The Rams, and I don't know if it's maybe Burrow, because it's the 2nd time they've done this. I don't know if Burrow has a habit of escaping to his left, but they don't balance out the rush lanes. Now, they have an extra guy, so maybe they're thinking because we have the spy here, it's like a mirror type deal. It is dime personnel. They got another DB in. But maybe they're trying to gum this up. Maybe he likes to go to his right, so they're waiting. They're going to put the spies over there, so you close him out. But it's just weird they're not balancing up their rush. All right, 12 jumbo. You got base personnel on defense. Just looks like old school 3-strong rotation. So now I call this 13 jumbo. So I this is just me personally. I know people are different. I would count that 6th O lineman as a tight end, and the J would tell me that that's an O lineman. Because and the reason I do this, and again, I know everybody's different, is because it's a 13 personnel formation.
Yeah.
Because if you say 12J to me, I'm thinking 12 personnel. I'm thinking 2 receivers, right? Because you always
And you're,
learn that,
and you're,
you know.
and like, yeah, and like I'm with you. I would call this 13 extra for extra alignment. But
Yeah.
the problem we run into calling this 12 extra is that you call 12 extra, and then okay, so you call okay, we're going to match that with just base defense, right?
Yeah.
But when you'd rather be in some kind of heavier like goal line 40, like the Fangio 40 package that they get into later. Right, like that's what you really want to be in against, because like that guy's ineligible, right? And so, like, he's not a receiving threat. So there's only 4 receiving threats now, not 5.
One of the things they do. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, I am done.
Yeah, that's why because I've had this question from guys before. It's like, well, why do you, if he's a tight, if he's not a tight end, if he's a lineman, because I think 13 personnel formation. That's just how my brain works, and it doesn't matter. As the play call, as the guy who's designing the defense, it doesn't make it. Those kids don't care. It's for you. Yeah. Also, you'll see they're going to run under. They're going to run a little 9 GM7. So they're going to keep the edge in case they try the wind back play or some bullshit, which I think they actually run here. He gets the out block. He's going to duck inside so he can set the edge. I think this is fire zone. I think they call it storm.
Storm.
Yeah, saw dog, scissors. It's just double edge pressure. And when I mean double edge, I mean a guy off each edge, not 2 off an edge. They run the wind back play. We've talked about before. It's like duo with a puller. Kind of. It's its own deal. That's when you're going deep in the playbook. I don't know why. This is the other thing, is they've gashed him twice on outside zone, 14 and 13. Don't outsmart yourself. Run weak zone. Now, I know they're coming down on that side, but do something. Don't do this. All right, we're back to some empty. Gain of 4, 10. Now they're in 10 personnel. They're in true 10 personnel. So they got 4 receivers on the field, 1 back, who I believe is the number 1 receiver to the Trips. No, I'm sorry. He's the number 1 receiver to the Twins. Sorry. So they got Mixon down here. Again, 2 and 3 are on the ball. You're going to get the Sam. So they're going to bring Penny Sam, and they're going to play 3 deep coverage right here. Again, the problem with this and how they play this is they're not overdropping 3. And so these outbreaking routes, this is why, and I know in empty, so this is one of the things you have to do in empty. Because you have to overdrop 3. We've talked about this before. If not, you could play like Fire Zone and you'd be screwed. But you got to overdrop 3, which means the guy coming back here has to provide inside presence in this hook. So he has to show like he's going here and then roll back inside. Some people call this bonus. Pruitt changed it because, or bingo drop, rather.
Bingo drop.
They changed the name because bingo drop's confusing because bingo was a trips check, quarters trips check. And so they'd yell bingo, 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 and then they would try to check the quarters when it was, so they call it bonus, which makes more sense. I'm going to drop to take away the inside presence here, and then I'm going to roll back. Hard to do when you're a 5 technique.
Yep.
And this is the shit I don't understand. It's 10 personnel. Why are you in Penny? Why? Getting 4 down, get one of these guys off the field, and turn both these cats loose. Now, again, I know I'm critical. Who am I? I'm some guy that used to coach high school football. Raheem Morris just won a Super Bowl. You know, I get all that. And I'm sure there's people tuning in, as our former president used to call the haters and losers, who were sitting there being like, what the fuck have you done? What do you fucking know? First of all, fuck you. Second of all, just kidding. Second of all, like, just because, like, please explain to me why this is good. What are you getting out of this? I don't understand. You're making, and I understand that's a world-class athlete. Get it. And he might be better at dropping than your second linebacker. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe there were injuries. Maybe their second linebacker was dog shit, and they didn't trust their dime because I know they were light on DBs, hence why Eric Weddle's there. So, like, let's just get our best players in the field. There's some merit to that. But is there? I don't know. You get a little TE game. So now they're, instead of going Penny, they've actually, it's not really Penny, it's Penny personnel. They've gone into an overload front. They're trying to get the slide here, and they're trying to get somebody to come around here. The problem is, once this guy drops, he can bang this back. He can bang this back to pick it up. They don't. Or they do late. Like
70, yeah, he gets
77 should go back right now. He should get depth and then work back here as soon as this guy drops. Right now. You don't need to punch him. It's not boxing. Get your ass back here now. So he can turn this back into a 4-1 slide. Anyway. I know I'm going on these 2-minute meltdowns over a 4-yard gain. I get it. But I just... This is the shit that drives me insane.
You're right. Penny doesn't make any sense in 10 personnel. Just the structure just does not work.
We got more changes.
Unless you're going to be... Yeah,
I'm convinced... Sorry, real quick, and then take this over. I'm convinced they knew they were going to roll shit to Chase because they watched this Tuesday Night Football breakdowns, and they know we have provided a lot of context for what... I'm kidding, by the way. That they like to roll to certain guys because they do this so many times where they have Chase do the change of strength motion, which if somebody's doing that is smart because it's just one more layer. Here's what you got to remember. These guys right here, they're not all used to working together. I don't give a shit how smart you are. You might be very brilliant, but the communication is a two-way street. And that's a lot of playbook to learn.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, you could see it a lot where they're all like looking around. And I think that Cincinnati tried to key on that, which is smart. And plus 22, and I don't know why they didn't do more of this. We talked about this earlier about, remember he came inside and they pinned him and he could have got the ball out, but Burrow threw it behind him. 22 is, he wouldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He is soft as baby shit. So double his ass, make this guy, or don't let him go and let him try and make the tackle, but he can't get off blocks. I mean,
yeah, that's
what did JC wouldn't bust a grape? What did Jay-Z say wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight?
Yeah,
he probably knocked the shit out of me, but I.
He used to say wouldn't bust an egg, or Bobo used to say something that was real funny. Wouldn't bust an egg. Damn, I don't remember. That shit was funny though.
My favorite was the Keith Burns. He wouldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
I say that about quarterbacks who suck.
67 blocks the wrong guy. Don't like it.
Yeah,
talk to me. Let's go to the end zone. It's inside zone.
All right, so go to the end zone here. Okay, so they're in this 12 personnel. Every time they've been in 12 personnel, it's been some run. All right, so here's split zone, okay, versus a 3-backer box. Okay, split zone versus a 3-backer box.
I'll draw. You talk, I'll draw.
Okay. 20's rolled down. He's declared himself. It's 8-man front, okay? Rule versus split zone. 3-backer box. Declare the middle. Okay, so the middle of the 3 guys. 51's the mic. So 67 should be working to the mic because the nose is where he is. If the nose was on the other side, they would combo to him. Okay, that's exactly right. This is how this should get blocked. Okay, there you go. And no one's gonna block 5, right? They're gonna make the corner tackle.
And they can even get him. They can almost wall his ass off. I'm sorry. He's got to work there.
Yeah. 77 and 75 got Aaron Donald to 50. Okay,
my bad.
So
I fuck up because I keep seeing this and I'm thinking under. I automatically think 5. Oh yeah. 9-3 shade, got to be a 5. My bad.
All right, so 51's declared. That's who they're working to. All right, and then now go ahead and roll it.
Here, to this guy.
Yep.
He's got to check to here. He's got to cut this off. He's got to push here.
Yep. They're gonna cut him, and they're gonna say we're gonna 28's better than 5 in the hole. Right,
Benjamin. Is that Benjamin? Is that your full name?
Yeah,
Benjamin. Tell the listeners at home. 28. Who's he? What's he reading here in this 3-backer box?
So he's reading the first down lineman. This is just tight zone.
First down lineman where?
To play side, right? So he's reading basically 91. Okay, so if 91 wins in that gap, the ball's going to roll backside is basically what's going to happen. Okay, so right now 91 has won front side, right? You see
Mhm.
his color sticking out from your lineman. Okay, so now you know this thing's got to wind back. Okay, and they got this thing blocked pretty good. The 4-eye is beating the tackle, but he should by alignment. Okay, but if look, my man 67's going the wrong way, he's going to block 50. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Does a
Mixon
great
cuts
job
this
at
thing.
it.
Yeah, he's awesome. Mixon cuts this thing all the way back past behind 73, but the middle linebacker is unblocked in the hole because the left guard doesn't block him. He goes to the wrong
You could
fucking
see him
guy.
start to slip 67, like he's gonna, and then he's almost like, oh shit. You could see his eyes go.
Yeah,
He's not blocking me.
yeah, yeah. But if they get this, if he blocks the right guy, they got a dang play here. They got to play.
The misery. Here you go. Corner
The
screws
misery.
this up.
The misery. Yeah, so we always talk about primary support and secondary support, right? So if you're the primary support player, then you're a run first player. You get run, you're going. You can trigger like a banshee and be as aggressive as you want to be. Knock the shit out of somebody,
Which would
right?
be this guy.
It should be that guy, okay?
And
but
how
they're
you
playing
might be
quarter, I
saying,
believe
well,
it's
how do you
quarter.
know it's not covered two?
Or is it three?
How do you know the corner's not coming up? Well, I can tell you because that's a shitty call down here. That's how I know
you
it's
can't
not
play
cover
cover 2 on the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's not cover 2 because you can't play cover 2 on the 6-yard line.
Crack replace,
So,
or if you're going to crack replace, or let me say this. That could happen. Or if he called a crack, like he's going up to the safety, then he's got to buy him, and somebody's wrong here.
Yep. And like to me, you can't call crack on this because like one when he actually goes to block, you get wide hands, wide feet by the receiver, right? He's going to widen his base. He's going to come to balance. He's going to get his hands ready to strike out in front of him. So we tell the corner, look, you see wide hands, wide feet, that's crack. Okay? Until you see wide hands, wide feet, there's no crack. That's your guy. That's one vertical, right? That's your guy. Whether they're playing 3 week or whether this is quarters and Weddle's the extra fitter, whatever's happening here, I don't know. We've already talked about how confusing the red zone can get. All right, but it doesn't matter. The corner can't play it like this. He's got to trust the nickel and the safety to get it done. This is not his fit. And like this is tough, right? Because you're on the 6-yard line. Everybody's got to trigger like a banshee to get this play on the ground.
And it's
right?
the Super
like
Bowl.
See,
here's the other
you
thing
see
I want
the
to jump
toss,
in.
like it's coming right at him. Like everything inside of him is like, make the play. And then you're
Well,
like,
and it's
oh, shit.
and real quick, it's the Super Bowl. Like people say, momentum doesn't exist, and people. I don't think there's a coincidence that they bust 3 times already in that one coverage. It's a Super Bowl. These are humans, and if you think it's all the games are the same, watch their reaction after they win the Super Bowl versus when they in week 16 or whatever, week 14. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be like any other game. But anyway, so on another point, let's say it was crack. Let's just go with that. I know it's not.
Yeah.
But let's just say he gets wide hands, wide feet. This is why we tell guys, let's say the corner misidentified the crack. Let's say he thinks hey, coach, I saw it happen fast. I called crack. I told the safety. This is why we have guys point on film. Because let's say the approach was different. He was trying to crack. My man here's got to make the call and point. Because now on film, I can at least say, oh, you did tell him to crack. That shouldn't have been a crack. And this is why if we're all wrong, we're all right. If he says crack, even if it's not crack, which Ben is 100% correct on, the tempo, the body posture tells you it's not crack. But it is coming at you. Things are fast. It's a Super Bowl, whatever. You know what I mean? He wants the safety to take him and he's going to go play and they're going to switch this, they're going to talk. And part of talking is pointing and physical communication. Because I can't hear you on film. So you got to point, make the crack call, and then go play. So just a little lesson in communication.
Play awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say by scouting report, you knew they were a crack toss team. Who is that guy going to crack? He's going to crack the nickel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other thing is, when you get into these situations, you have to, they're down on the, like you said, it's low red zone. They got to play fast. 5 yards down here is like 20 in the open field. It's precious real estate. You got to talk. You got to point. You got to get these things, even if you fuck up. But that's why we say if you're all wrong, we're all right. If he does say crack, even though it's not a crack, and he calls crack and the safety sees it and stops to let me know I'm going, you got this covered. Even if they're wrong, the problem is everybody talks about good secondaries communicate, and they assume it's in the passing game, which most of the time it is. But this is where even in the run game you can cause problems. Let's just watch this blocked up front. Good job selling this, by the way. I mean, this looks like cracked. I mean, I think it is. I think it is cracked toss. I think it's this is like an option play. I don't think this is pre-designed. I mean,
I think if the look's not there, he just keeps the run.
Can we get a little East Bay celebration right here? He's Ghost Ride the Whip. Ghost Ride the Whip.
Well, yeah, if it was really crack toss, there would be more guys blocking down.
Yeah.
But like in the red area, stuff happens so fast. That's a good play.
Absolutely. And and again, we're stopped. It's just like instant replay. Everything looks more dangerous in slow motion, right? It's so easy to be like, oh, yeah, they should have done this. Like, I'll always give the players the benefit of the doubt. All right, 2 minute. We're going to get dime. We got quarter, half. We got halves of the field to Chase up top. The other reason why I think you could tell, and because remember they said in the broadcast that Raheem was going to have Ramsey. Now file this away, guys. Okay? In the broadcast, they talked about that they were going to move Ramsey around based on what they thought was going to happen. Remember them saying that?
Yeah.
I think that they're going to put Ramsey away from Chase when they play Zeus. They're going to do the Dion principle. They're going to put their best guy, man, on number one, and then they're going to roll away from him. I know it's 2x2, so it's not going to be truly man on man. But let's track this, Ben. I put you in charge. You're the Zeus tracker. So this is the second time they've played quarter, half to Chase out of sub where Ramsey's been away from it. Because when I heard him say that, I went, how would you do that? Like move them where you think they're going to hit? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You'd have to move them by call, which they did last year. Remember, we talked about earlier, in sub, in nickel, when he had the potential to be in the run fit, they would play him more. I'm sorry. They would put him in nickel when they were in their nickel package because he'd have to be in the run game. Where in penny, because it's a self-contained thing, you didn't need him, so they'd put him outside.
Yeah.
But that's twice now.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think there's anything to this?
Yeah, I do. I think you've got to organize it by call and if you're sitting there saying, okay, like we're going to play Zeus, like the whole point of playing Zeus is to play cover 2 to a stud receiver, right?
Yes.
That's why it exists in your playbook.
Yes.
Right?
Or you think they're running the ball.
Or
you think I'm sorry, that's the base version. You're right. I was
right.
going to say
so
the base
you
version,
say, okay, if
in luggage, they also do it for run because they'll go left and right. Zeus is not like that. It's to a guy.
Yeah, it's to the receiver jersey number.
Okay, let's see if they're doing this here. Let's see if we can track it. Okay, Chase is up top. Ramsey's away. So this is the next play. So now they're playing halves to the boundary. But this is what I meant by quarters. So they're clearly playing quarters up here. Watch this guy. Watch how physical and he's on the line of scrimmage. Look, it looks like press man.
It's almost like they're playing switch.
Mm-hmm. We used to do this. We got this from TCU. They called it bang for Emmanuel Sanders. And when they played June Jones, what they would do is they'd play outside leverage on 2, and he would beat the ever living shit, and he'd still be the hang technique. But now they're playing halves.
Would you push a fast 3 in that?
Yeah, if there was a lot of space.
Yeah.
But we played outside leverage, so we're busting his ass and looking inside. And we would rely on the communication. Because you'd have time. So what coach is asking is if we were to put this guy up here and beat the shit out of him at the line of scrimmage and he went fast, Would we push this? Absolutely, because he's got time. But then again, you know, when you're playing the run and shoot, it's mostly 6-man protection, so you're not really seeing that. We'd still do it versus 3x1 though, because we didn't give a shit. We were like, we'd rather get physical on him.
Okay.
But that all depended. All right, so let's see. We got Ramsey down here on Chase. So now they're playing halves. And part of it, I think it's rock, paper, scissors. They'll just move it direction so they can't get a beat on it.
Right. That's the other,
You would definitely want to do it to him now
start seeing beaters.
because he's the number one, and you don't need to roll over everything to bunch. It's 2 minute. It's 1st and 10, 2 minute on the 21-yard line. Like, just cover down.
Yeah, this is just and like here, like maybe this was called quarter, half. Maybe this was called Zeus. It's hard to say what the call was. You only know how it plays out.
Yes.
But they get the cloud where they want it, which is the most important thing. Which, like, if that's what you're after, then you're just calling Zeus the whole time so that you always get the half to where you want it.
They're also lazy with their disguises. Like, it's 1st and 10, 2 minute. Like, we know you're not in 3D. Like, just get back there. Like, what are you doing? We got a load front, 2x2 back week. We got Ramsey away. So this is actually going to be 3-week buzz. I believe this is whip fire, not whip fires. Well, maybe it's buzz rotation. It's dime. So that's the other thing that changes the math. Usually you don't want to do this because you have a backer, so you want him playing on 2. But now you have the dime, so you can put Weddle over the middle. You got Chase up there.
Yeah, the dime personnel changes your structures a little bit. Or, you know, gives you more flexibility because you've got a DB over there now instead of a backer.
I think they're doing that because watch the nickel. Again,
like, here's the other thing. Look,
3.
There's 5 rushers. This could just be straight fire zone. They rush 5, don't they?
Yes, that's what I'm sorry.
Weddle's got the back.
It's the whip fire zone align. I meant see that's where I get myself screwed up. They have a version of whip. I don't remember the name where they actually just bring 5. They're bringing 5. They're running a twist. But what's interesting is they're zoning it to the tight end. Like this guy, this is what's interesting. He's dropping like it's zone. He's playing press like it's man. Inside leverage, which I don't. There must have been a reason why.
Which makes no fucking sense. Yeah, I like. Okay, so here's why whip is a 3x. Like we've seen whip a couple times. Here's why it's a big 3x1 check, right? And I know this isn't 3x1. This is 2x2. Okay, but 3x1, all these looks, right? The protection's going to go to the 3x side, right? The O line's going to slide that way because there's more threats that way. So versus 6-man pro, you get a 1-on-1 with your linebacker on the back, which isn't a terrible thing.
Which is
right?
crazy
that's
because they don't even have a defensive lineman over here, and they still slide that way.
Right, which is why like they have to protect themselves in this load front. They run all these twist games back, basically to force you to bring the guard over there, right? And I've seen teams like they'll read that guard. If the guard makes it a 4x1 slide, then the one guy rushes inside, and if the guard slides to the boundary, then they'll run the game to the field. But anyway, the whip is really good versus as a 3x1 check, and I know they use it that way quite a bit.
I think this is when they started realizing like they should cover everybody up. I think this 2-minute drive, I'm sure they went back in the locker room like, hey, you know that we did pretty well on some of that stuff. Maybe we should use that. So now you're getting the same thing. You're getting what they call what they call is 3 buzz. So it's 3 buzz. But it's like weirdo.
And the nickel's playing this like he's playing it like Mabel, not skate. Or he's playing it like they're going to play skate, not skinny.
Meaning, for those of you who don't know what that means, it means they're going to zone. They're going to zone this like a true. He's dropping out, but the corner's not.
It's a different way to play the 3x1 side of the coverage.
Yeah. Which the thing I noticed about the Rams is they're not in concert. So like here, you see this guy dropping out. So if you're doing that, then you need to have somebody splitting 1 and 2. This guy should be in the
he's
deep
gotta play
third.
weapon divider.
It's freaking 3rd and 6, 2-minute drill. He sits and plays like
Yeah.
quarters. I mean, so that's where, like, it's really strange.
Yep.
Somebody asked in the chat, I think you talked often about playing your best pass rusher away from the load side to isolate him. You can do that. With Donald, he's not an edge guy, so I wouldn't do that.
But like, would you want to like?
Look at this
Could
guy
you-
right here.
Yeah.
They got to go one-on-one with
But
him
what-
all night.
Yeah, exactly. That's it right there.
Then they just go victory. All right. We're gonna blaze through this. All right. Got base. Got
Second
12
half.
personnel. First play of the second half. They just get a turnover.
No, they score here and the turnover comes after.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
But all right, so I brought up when you asked me about the game, I said I was disappointed that they didn't take some 7-man pro shots. They took one in the first half, and it went for a touchdown to Chase it went for a huge play to Chase on the one-handed catch.
Mm-hmm.
Now they do it again for only the second time in the game, and now they get a touchdown pass to T. Higgins on the big completion.
This is the face mask call that
should have
everybody
been
wanted.
OPI. Yeah, probably should have been OPI, but they don't really call that. But my point is, like, I thought this was something we would see more of. 7-man pro taking a shot, vertical passing game. We haven't seen vertical passing game out of the Bengals. And some of it's because they just can't protect long enough to get those routes open. The only way to get those routes open is to use 7-man, like true slide pro, not check release. Like, I'm protecting, you're not getting, like, we're going to have time to throw this ball, which they get here. I mean, Burrow's awesome in the pocket. His pocket movement is fantastic. But anyways,
So now
there's 2 right there, 2 for 2.
this is wrong. This is bad. Well, actually, this is what's weird here. This is a different personnel grouping. So actually, no, it's Penny, but they're in an over front.
Yeah,
So
they
it's Penny in the
switched
fact
front.
that it's 3 interior guys, backer, but they're in an over front, which I hadn't really seen from them. Very interesting. This is where the disguise looks good, because this looks like it's going to be cover 1. I mean, you've got a guy walked up off the edge, and this is some of the benefit of the Penny shit, is you can show low. And especially it's coming out of halftime, so
Well-
you can't even be like, well, hey, maybe they're going to, like, you know, we've seen this before. You're expecting some sort of adjustments. They show one high, and then
here's
they back
here's
off.
here's the other thought. Like, okay, they're forcing you to slide. They're forcing the Bengals offensive line to slide left because there's 3 guys over there, right?
Yeah.
So they're even though the outside guy ends up becoming the dropper, right, in this cover 5 or this cover 8 here.
Come on, man.
So yeah, but so they're forcing you right here to slide a certain way, and they're at least going to get you to slide away from Donald, right? So they're getting Donald one-on-one with the guard here, this is the guy he kind of abused a couple times in the game.
This is the guy that was talking
maybe they
shit after
thought-
the game and tweeting.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, Jesus.
This is also,
But-
and I get what they're trying to do, but Ben, this is what drives me fucking crazy. They got a head up 4 technique against 11 personnel, contain pass rushing, your defense tackle, and you're dropping. Isn't that Leonard Floyd?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? I get it. They get the no gain, whatever, but it's just like, it just drives me insane. I don't know. Whatever.
Empty.
Little whip fire zone action. But again, this.
So here's why whip is great as an empty check, because right, so empty you get 3x2, all right. So even though the weak safety comes down here and represents where the possible pressure's coming from, okay, they still get 54 is unblocked. He just trips, right? Because the tackle initially sets to him and then tries to bump it back to pick
Well,
up
and
the blitz.
don't spin
They've
move
got
when
a
they're
free
blitzing
hitter
inside.
on the,
Yeah, but yeah, fuck that. Like, no offense, but like, you got a blitz coming to you. Don't spin. Set the fucking
yeah,
edge.
I know that's
Like this
some dumb.
shit drives me insane.
Yeah,
Great job. They bust through. He tries.
They literally, they're up in the box. As soon as they see the formation, they think, okay, we got something here. As long as the center slides to the field, which he does. Like to me, they've got to slide. As soon as you see weak rotation, you've got to slide this thing left. I know you're sliding it away from Donald, and maybe that's their thought process is either they slide into the blitz and Donald gets one-on-one, or they slide to Donald and our blitzer comes free.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and I'm cool with, like I talked about earlier about not bringing somebody off the edge to Donald is coaching malpractice. I'm okay with this because you're overloading his side. What I meant was they were in penny and they're just going like this and bringing a guy off the edge and they're sliding that way. Right. And this guy's like, oh, I got to get through. Yeah, and this is Saban for years. This is one of his empty checks. In fact, they call it whip.
They call it. I thought it was slap and punch.
Yeah, but they have another. That's the Fire Zone version. They have a simulated version too. Okay, this is all hell's breaking loose now. So, I don't know. They're trying to play Tampa, I think, but have Weddle be the middle runner. I don't. This is very strange. 4 down territory, so they probably said, "All right, let's try it out," or maybe because they kick. I think they kick after this play. It's just a weird play on defense, a weird play on offense. It's just a kind of a
and like this is like this might be where you get a little too fancy in the Super Bowl trying to come up with some funky rotation. Just show like it's 3rd and 11. Just try to show them something they haven't seen before. I don't know. I'm not sure what.
Well, and get out of it. I mean, if you're gonna line up like what's I get you're trying to get Weddle on the 3 runner in Tampa, but they're already bunched up. They've already done their job for you.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
whatever. They did go for it. Okay, I couldn't remember if this was the series they went for or not. Here we go. Is this cover 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you explain this to me? 4th and 1. High red zone.
I mean, this is exactly the point you brought up early. Some of these these pass rush games, you got to be careful because you just open up these massive lanes for Burrow to run through, and that's exactly what happens here.
8 yards off, 4th and 1.
Yeah. Well, now he's playing with a torn pec at this point.
Weddle?
Yeah. He tore his pec on the 11th play of the game. So, look, the Rat gets a little ambitious here when Burrow looks. He just takes off. Easy money.
I got to say, though, he missed. There's a lot of. Now, I get it. They get the first. But there's some open guys. He didn't find them. And I know that's where he's got to look, but, like, they're pressed up.
I was a little shocked he didn't throw the slant in here to the guy who's 8 yards off. Now, I know what he's worried about, right, that this is 5 grab. Right, and that that this guy's going to overdrop 3 and end up in the slant window of 2, right? I know he's probably worried, right? And then 24 will take 3 up. I know that might have been what scared him off because it looks like he looks over here to start with, and maybe sees 3 outside leverage and gets nervous that he's going to throw that ball right into the window. I'm not really sure, but
yeah. All right.
Anyway, I mean they convert. Here's more big people that.
I don't understand this. Early on, they were in 11 and 12 under center, 11 and 12, and they had some great success running outside zone. And then they enable the Rams to bring in bigger people. Like let Weddle know. I mean, maybe they didn't know Weddle was hurt, but if you know Weddle's hurt and he's the guy coming into the box and Penny, He's got to be the guy to bring the hammer when you get in certain looks. Make his ass tackle that big ass running back. Don't let him off the hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Weddle wants no part of it now. Neither would I. I mean, I'm nobody's.
I mean, but
fault.
hey, you normally tear a pec, you're out of the game immediately. Like that's not something you usually play through. And
I also enjoy how the concussion protocol went out. Cooper Kupp didn't look like he knew where he was after the game. They cut to him and he looked like Jake Paul. He was just like, "Oh, you can't see me." I just did a really dumb look on my face. By the way, have you met? Apropos of nothing, have you ever met a Jake Paul fan? Somebody who likes him?
No.
I think it's all Russian troll farms. So they bring Whip again. But see, this is the problem is, and I get you want to slide away from Donald, but to make this work, to get the one-on-one, you have to bring this guy.
Yep. You got to run the just normal Fire Zone version of it.
Yeah.
Which, like, eventually they get to just straight fire and rush. Let them go. Just rush them. Create the one-on-ones, and you're going to win. You're better than they are. Quit giving them opportunities to bump it back and help. Like right here, like you said, they get 2-on-1 on Donald because 58's dropping.
Also, coaching point: you need to get North through here before you go. To hold this guard. I mean, he just goes.
Yeah.
I understand it's 2nd and 8, but look at the formation. They haven't run the ball out of a 10 personnel formation yet.
No.
What 77? This is how you're supposed to do it. We talked about this earlier. Bang him out, and then work back. Great job.
Yep.
Now you got to be careful because you got to give him time to set back inside because he's got to kick out and then say, "Oh shit," and then work back inside. You can't come off too fast because then he can split that.
Which they do later on a run play.
Oh,
they
really?
Fuck it up pretty good.
I missed that.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you see this thing.
This is Ben's. I'm going to steal your thunder on this. Your official comments for this is LMAO99 is good. So let's just watch the end
so
zone.
this is... Yeah,
this is what I was waiting
says
for.
it
Get into this. The load front's cool. I don't like the load front as much as I like this.
I like this more, too.
This guy sucks. This guy's good. Right? Football is a game that is simple, that is made complicated by coaches. Okay? Let's take this to a macro 30,000 foot view. Good. Not good.
Yeah.
So instead of putting him over here and doing all this and doing the cha-cha and all that, fuck that. Get your ass on his outside shoulder and fucking go. And look what happens.
Yeah, sometimes it's as simple as figure out who the fish is, put your best player on him, and trust your best player to beat the fish.
I mean,
that's... whoo! So they kick a field goal there, right? All right, so I'm just going to rant here for a minute.
Go ahead.
The last 3 first down plays for the Bengals have been really crappy runs that went nowhere. Okay, I think they've been in 2nd and 8, 2nd and 8, and 2nd and 7.
And Matt, add, it's either gun 11 or under center 12 jumbo. The only runs they've had any success is when they went 11 or regular 12. Sorry, 13 jumbo. Has been when they've gone 11 and 12 under center, and they've also got a huge shot play. What do?
Yeah.
Let's run some more gun runs.
So.
Oh, here you go.
A lot of first down runs that have gone. A lot of first down runs that have gone absolutely nowhere. But at least here they're trying to help themselves in the run game by putting a little RPO on this thing with Chase, right? Now, to me, right now, as soon as 50 doesn't match Chase, you got to throw this RPO out there. It's 2 for 2 on the perimeter, and you got Chase. Throw this out there, Joe. This kind of confused me.
Do you think that's
right? Throw it out there.
Do you think that right there spooks him? The only reason I ask is because we knew people, we would get in this alignment to deny this because people would get in bubble. Yeah. They'd throw bubble. Yeah. But if you put them on the line, they'd freak out. Thank you for that.
Yeah, defensively, that's exactly what you're looking to get done. But right now, if he just slings this out to Chase, even if they spend 2 guys blocking one,
This guy, not
You got a playmaker in space. I don't even know who number 11 is, but he's 10 yards off. He's almost 15 yards off. Like that's going to be more productive than your crappy little 2-yard inside zone play here. Trying to run the this might be it. Here, watch these two. Watch these.
This is it.
Guys.
This is the Catholic
Watch
school
this.
problem. So we used to joke about on defense that the issue with coaching at the Catholic schools, where you talked about brotherhood and all that shit. Not that public schools don't talk about this stuff, but the joke was, this is on defense you had to be selfish. You see this on offense too, where it's like, oh, I'm going to help my buddy. I'm going to go help, and I'm going to go climb and help, and then you got two guys helping and nobody taking care of your base responsibility. It's supposed to be a double up
first
to the next level, not a whatever the hell this is. It's actually not a bad play if he hands it and they block him, because this is where they're getting screwed on their gaps is they got nobody here. So you got an A-gap backer that's behind the play. So I get what you're saying, and I agree, but look at this.
Yeah.
You got two open gaps. And a guy with a torn pec. Now, maybe they didn't know that. But didn't they talk about it on the broadcast that he was hurt?
I mean, it was pretty obvious to see because he was doing everything with one hand. He was avoiding contact at all costs. Like,
here we go. We got Penny. Now they're bringing an inside rush. I forget what they call this. I think it's called Moby Fire Zone or some shit. So they're just bringing in an interior plug, one of my favorites. I don't like it. I like it where it's out of a zero, so you don't know which way it's going, but whatever. You're getting a one-on-one on the back. Again, I know they're getting 45 is not, it's not Vaughn, but at least they're rushing Vaughn this time.
He's got a completion here. They're high-low in the hook player in cover 3, and the hook player takes the cheese. Right, and he's got this dig coming wide open to 81.
85.
Yeah, whoever that, 85 maybe, that's T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a completion right here for a good game.
He did not play well.
Who, Burrow?
Yeah.
I mean this is great effort by 50 to get his ass up off the ground and keep rushing. But this is another good way to get you a one-on-one with Aaron Donald, too.
This is the other thing that drives me insane about the Rams. Okay. And I sound like I'm a hater. I do. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. They did a great job. They got a sack on this play. And maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe both are true. But here's what I don't understand. You don't have Von Miller or Floyd on the field? Either of them? Like, what are we doing? Do like, I get it. They get the sack. I'm an idiot. Raheem Morris is a genius. But, like, I don't. They're outsmarting themselves. They've been kicking the shit out of them in the run game anytime they're in the gun. The other thing is, getting to some different fronts. They ain't running the ball. Get your ass out here. Like, they're doing all this pass rushing from 4-eye, and I get it. I think part of it is they were trying to gum up the look and then get wide out there and have them then step up and force it, but I guess I just don't understand some of this stuff. And again, they won the Super Bowl. They're doing great. But here's 5 Buzz. They call 5 weak side rotation 5. That's one thing Staley changed. Raheem changed. So we got Buzz. I think I will say this. They had some nice compliments to their load front stuff, I thought, this game. Coverage-wise. It wasn't just the same old shit. So they got the safety buzzing down. This safety's in the middle of the field. He's going to take 3 up. This is why you do this. Weddle's got 3 up. This is where the lack of elite arm strength hurts. But that ball should be out now. As well, right? I mean,
yeah, he's short arms. He's got a completion here. On the TV, I remember this play on the watching it live, and I felt like he just got in a hurry and just short armed this throw. But this has got to be a completion.
You think Chase does? He does like a weird like stutter and go to come back. It's the
stutter go comeback.
You know,
which like I know that's a real route in their offense. That's not
you don't have time to protect that shit. against these guys.
Yeah, that's my deal. Is I don't know if you got time to protect that route.
They got Floyd. So maybe they were saving him for third down. They got Floyd and Miller back in.
Yeah.
It's almost like he didn't expect that shit. I don't know. Now the sacks start coming at a clip. 1st and 10. You got Penny. Hold on one second. Do we now have a scoreboard shot here? Oh, we do. Okay. One thing. Never mind. That point doesn't hold. I was going to say one of the things that you've seen, a common theme in the teams that have won, the defenses we've watched, is they held the ball. Like there was one game where they held the ball for a long ass time, and it kept them off the field. But that was not the case here. I was going to pick, if there wasn't so many plays to watch and it wasn't the Super Bowl, the Bengals played some really – I just want to say this real quick. The Bengals played some really good defense for a long time. They had some great run fits, some great plays, kicked the shit out of the Rams' run game. I wish we had more time. I wish we could watch some of those, but, you know.
Yeah, hats off to the Bengals defense. They played their ass off for quite some time.
Again, this is one of the benefits of being in the NFL and not having to worry about RPO run fits and shit as much inside. We talked about this before, how they have the safeties foot A-gaps because they had Agent 99 in the game. But, like, you don't see this in college. You don't see the Sam and then weak rotation buzz, because if this was zone, Weddle would have to fit the A-gap. Because that, now the back's weak, so it's more of a pass formation, but that could very well motion one of these guys back and run zone read. Now, that would put the backer back in the box, so there's that. But this is why you don't see some of this shit at the high school level or the college level, because this guy would have to fit the A-gap over here. Now, the argument is, and what Brandon Staley bet on last year, which he didn't have at the Chargers this year, was with the zone, you're having to run it at 99. So you're having to run at Aaron Donald with singles now, because he's got to block out, he's got to block out. And then that's where the 2-gap, 1-gap comes in, where he can, because this backer is away from the back, right?
Yeah.
So he can get in the run fit, have him launch into the A, and then he can play the B, and that protects him. But that's because you have this guy. The X and O, they say it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and Joes. Sure, but those Jimmies and Joes make the X's much bigger. Like, this guy is the equivalent of this compared to maybe this here. I mean, you're giving the rat the cheese. So now they bring pressure to Donald's side. They bring the edge rusher to Donald. That allows him to have the two-way go. This is smart. If you're going to drop one of these guys, put Donald to the side you're rushing. So this guy, 94, who's not great at pass rushing anyway, let him be the cop. Let him go this way and let him have his two-way go on 77. That's been the main coaching point I've seen, is they're bringing the guy to Donald. Not coaching point, adjustment rather. So now, how about this hold, coach? I think he's got him by both nines.
He said, "You ain't going to do me like that again,
What's
homie."
the bullshit about him retiring, too? I didn't even know that was on the table.
I didn't either.
I will be sad if he retires. Like Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson sad.
Yeah, I mean, like, the guy's still in the prime of his career. Like,
wow. All right, we got a potential Zeus sighting. Ramsey is away from Chase, and they're playing halves to Chase.
Yeah. So here's that cover 2 beater again that they got, and they got I think they have the corner on it. If Joe rips this here at the top of his drop, if that back hits the ground, and he rips this out route to the slot receiver, he's got a completion right there. Now that receiver's got to come out high, right? The flatter he gets, the easier it gets for his corner to pick up.
Either one. Now he's already running for his life, so I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is a good play call, right? They're anticipating the Zeus call, the cloud to chase. They get it. They've got a cover 2 beater on, and he just doesn't pull the trigger. Like, this is, and he's looking over there too. Like, this is a great example. Like, as a defensive guy, this is what pressure does, right? This is one of the reasons why you pressure, because you get quarterbacks seeing ghosts, right? Like, he's like, that ball's got to come out as soon. He's got to hit the back foot and let that thing fly.
And he's got both
and
guys
instead,
open.
yeah, they're both open, right?
I mean, you could argue there
but-
are 4 people open on this play. You could
Yeah,
argue.
he's got a couple places to go.
This is the only guy who's kind of dead right here.
Yeah, but this is a great example of what happens when you continuously get pressure on a quarterback. You know, they're going to feel it. Their eyes start coming down. They quit going through progressions. This is a give up play. It's like 3rd and 22, whatever. They just go 4-by-1 and try to throw a slant and hope someone misses a tackle.
It's too bad they didn't try and do this because they're
I know.
short.
Yeah, they're short over there.
Look, the nickel line. I don't even think they know he's out here. I think they think he's
Yeah,
running to the sideline or something. I don't know which
Yeah,
sidelines the Bengals. We'll see in a second, but
Yeah, they're.
oh yeah, no, it is that
they're-
sideline because look, the nickel lines up on 3. The corner's lined up on number 2. This is why you always
Yeah.
tell young guys count outside in. Because the rules have changed. Because it used to be you didn't have to come in, right. Like back in the day, you didn't have to come inside the numbers to be in the play. You could sneak on late, and then some
Yeah.
people took advantage of that, and so they changed it. This is not an ideal trips check, PS or quads check. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Ben's comments. Oh, look, another first down run for 2 yards. Yeah, they stopped hurting them.
It's the same damn play. How many times? What is this? The 3rd or 4th time we've seen this play go for no yards, and they're just continuing to run it.
They did
like,
have success early
okay.
though, so maybe they were hoping it would come back around.
Okay, one time because somebody on defense screwed up. Like, I don't know. At this point in the game, like, okay, yeah, it worked the first time. It hadn't worked the next 3 times. Like, maybe you should find something else to call. I don't know. I'm being critical of a guy calling plays in the Super Bowl, and I'm an unemployed Group of 5 quality control coach. So maybe I just need to slow my roll a little bit here. But you know,
Here's the other thing I was
felt
thinking
like
about.
I felt like not like right here. This is the first play of the 4th quarter, I think, or their first possession in the 4th quarter. They've got a lead, right? I just felt like as the game went on, he got more and more conservative with the play calling.
Well, in
And
his
it bothered-
defense, though, how many sacks in the last 10 plays? So I get it.
No, you're right, and he's getting pressure, and he's saying, "Oh my God!" Like I just called the perfect cover 2 beater into cover 2, and Joe didn't process it. Like,
Well,
what do I
here's
do?
the other thing, and I know the line's not very good, but they've been giving you a 4-eye and a 9 all game. Okay? Let me let you in on a secret. And they're rolling cover 2 to the side of Chase. Why don't you do this? Why don't you take this guy right here, step his ass off, or don't. You don't have to. Take 87 off the ball, move him over here, and run power. You got a 4, you got a 5 and a 9, and a guy with a broke shoulder fitting. Oh, he's on the other side, but you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I know you can't run power in the NFL anymore and all that shit, but like, why is nobody doing that? We got empty.
Yeah.
Oh, shocker! I gained him 16 yards. Wow, so surprised.
So
This is a bust and a half by the Rams. I don't know
yeah,
what
like
the hell's going on.
what's going on? What is Taylor Rapp doing? Is somebody like I don't know.
I think he busts. Oh, shocker. Empty. 16-yard gain.
Yeah. I mean, on a this is like day 1 install. It's like it's hitch seam with a little 3 over the ball route. Like sit over the ball and break away from the leverage of the defender. Like this is day 1 install stuff.
Yeah.
And they're getting completions. These are the best plays they've run all game. Like, why stop doing this? Like, okay, I get it. If you're getting an empty and they're checking like 0 blitz and shit, like, okay, slow your roll. All right, maybe we need to, now start throwing our screens. But here's another good one, right? Like, okay, it's first down again. Look, they get into huge people. No, this is just 12. They get into 12 under center, a 12 formation. There's no motion. They run zone for 1 yard. Like the first down play calling was atrocious. They did not set themselves up for success. Like they put Joe in too many obvious passing situations, and LA was able to just tee off. Like the best down to throw the ball on is 1st and 10, right? That's the best time to throw the ball is when you don't have to throw the ball. So quit calling these run plays that are not working, and you're ending up in 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and now everybody the old lady sitting in section 47 row 12 seat B knows you're going to throw the ball. You have to. And that's a no-win situation for the Bengals for sure. But they were committed to this run game, and I think it's why they lost the game, honestly.
Well,
Their commitment to run the ball on 1st down is why they lost the Super Bowl.
Well, and here's the other thing. If you're going to hand inside zone off, first of all, get fucking narrower. Don't stand this wide. The next thing is block everybody down and have this thing hit right here and off his ass. I don't give a shit how good you are. You ain't going to get there. If he hits this thing and hugs this tight and hits it right out here, no chance. But 89,
4 or 5 yards.
They single up here. Here's the patented Brandon Staley 2-gap, 1-gap technique. He arm overs into the gap. 89 just checks and gets up here. He blocks out, and they just, oh, there we go. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, if he gets this ball and 87 tracks right here, and it's just like Veer, right? 89 doubles here, double and get here, they're fucked, right?
Yeah.
He ain't making that play.
I mean, on paper, based on this front right here, on paper, they got themselves a play. But they're not winning one-on-ones up front. They're getting whooped. And now here they are again. What is this, 2nd and 9?
No, that was just zone, Trevor.
Yeah, that was zone. That wasn't duo.
Yeah, 2nd and 9. They're in a load front. Dime
now
personnel.
Look, like their tendencies
and they're losing.
are so
That's the best
up.
part. They're losing. It's 2nd and 9, and they're in dime and a load front.
Yeah.
So it looks like they played zone at any time. It looks like their whole big thing was, from what you could tell, is anytime it was gun near, they were going to play this like zone. They weren't going to play match.
Yeah.
Especially
they definitely wanted to push the fast 3. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely pushing the fast.
Well, and here's the wrong read. The ball should right now go to the back.
Yeah.
Burrow, this is the 4th or 5th time where he's had them out. He's got them.
They're outflanked.
Get the ball out here.
Yeah. And like,
you got broke
is it
shoulder.
Be an explosive play?
You got broke shoulder Mountain over here trying to cover the fucking out route. Like, make him tackle the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this has got to go to the back. I mean, it's double slant flat, single high. I mean, clearly the Rams know that this near back set is getting pushed fast 3 every time. I mean, look at that.
Also, I don't understand the wisdom of the load front stuff with Donald over here. Like, I don't understand this. I get you get one-on-one with Miller, but he's to a tight end. I mean, look at this. Now check inside zone.
Yeah, now check tight zone.
What the fuck? This is the other thing. Okay. Who's their worst lineman? 77? Right?
I think. Based on this film, 77 is the fish.
And they don't put anybody on them. Like that. I don't understand that. That's probably your best lineman, no? Jonah Williams, maybe I'm going off college rep. And also, I watched him play in high school. He's a Folsom kid. So I'm biased, but you're going to put 2 guys on your best guy and nobody on that guy? I mean, just look at their body. He looks like the long snapper. Whatever.
He looks like the long snapper. All right, so now we've got third and 9, right? 3rd and 9?
Yeah, 3rd and 9. Is this Diner? Yeah. It's out of 3.
I mean, this is just basic double edge, 5-man pressure, probably fire zone coverage, maybe man to man, but I doubt it. But I mean, this is
an
at
old
this
call.
point, like
Go ahead. Sorry.
at this point, like what they're winning on in their pass rush is when they get one-on-ones, and you create that by going 5 down. The load front really hasn't done much for them. And their 4-man rush has made Joe move in the pocket, but hasn't been terribly productive, other than when Aaron Donald went Hall of Fame on that guy. This is what's been effective for them so far in the game, is 5 down, creating one-on-ones, and letting one of their guys just win.
Yeah, this is an old blitz. Some people call it diner casino. It's usually seen with 2 deep, so it's kind of thought it was interesting. It's a nice little twist, though, because it ends up playing out like a bracket sort of thing with their outside leverage, and he can basically, what they're counting on is he is going to bracket both guys. Meaning these guys are going to play heavy outside. If Joe looks this way, he'll end up doubling. If Joe looks that way, it's basically like a robber kind of thing. But usually this double edge, you walk inside, you come off. Usually it's either seen with man free or more, especially if it's 2x2, you get a lot of 2 high. It's one of the most frequent 2 high pressure patterns in on-fronts. In fact, that's some people say is the original fire zone, was 2 deep fire zone, was double edge, 2 deep quarters. Yeah, and somebody said, Arnold and Jordan have pointed this out, and Mr. Arnold, they have issues all on their line. Yes. But I can tell you, Jonah Williams is better than their right guard. But Ben, what's interesting to me is like they're like slanting and shit. And I get they're trying to, this guy overset, so they're trying to get him to set wide and then come inside. It's just, I wish you could talk to these guys and they would never say it, but like why they do some of this stuff. Like I don't understand this move by Donald. They're coming outside. He's rushing outside. He is sliding out to him. They still slide this. Well, they have to fan it. So it's 5-0, but they're double fan. But he spins outside into a slide. Like you think he's, now I know 87's in there, so he's thinking, I got to spin outside, but why? This is where I would need a D-line guru. This is not admitted I know enough to coach it, but I'm not an NFL level expert. Plus now you're throwing in penalties in here. It's not a winning business model. Okay. We had a run. Ben, you gotta eat some crow here. You got a first down run, and they get 12 yards.
All right. So,
come on.
So
answer for yourself here.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So kidding. First down run, and look at this. Look at
By
this.
The way,
they got
we got
1,
tilt.
2, 3, 4. They got fucking 6 gaps on one side over there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
this is the tilt front.
So this
shade
is
or G,
the tilt front.
4-eye, 4 or 5 if there's a tight end sometimes. You got a 6-1 look, mic'd up, and then you can. I would buzz this down and bring him back, but what do I know?
Yes.
Sorry. Go
ahead. So all right. So this is exactly at the tilt front. Okay. This is basically what Belichick played against the Rams in the Super Bowl. Okay. They're playing weak rotation here, which is a little funky. Normally, this is played with 3 buzz rotation or quarters.
Yep.
And so
I think it's because this guy's broke shoulder mountain, as I refer to him.
Yeah, maybe they said, "Hey, we need to rotate this the other way because Eric's hurt. We don't want him down in the box."
Or flip him. Then fine. Then flip him. Then line him up over here. It's the only time you've ever done this. So
right. So all right. So this is now this right here is duo, my man. Okay,
also,
so this
get
is
his
duo
ass
here.
out of here. It's 13. It's 13 big. You don't need to play 2 corners. I know it's the NFL, and I know that's like the thing to do. And I know they're short in the DBs area, but I see this all the time. You get duo. They're trying to make the corner make tackles. Yeah. I know this tight end's good, but come on, man.
Yeah. So they weak rotate this, which is a little confusing. They should strong rotate this thing, which puts the safety in an A gap fit from 10 yards away. All right, they're in the perfect play, which is duo. Okay, and then the safety misses the tackle in the hole, and this thing ends up going for 12, 14 yards, whatever it ends up going for here. Okay, but this, so yeah, I got to eat a little crow on this specific play.
I'm giving you a hard time, man. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better,
I
thought this is inside veer. We just need some TDA, touchdown alley here. That thing is just, I love this.
I mean, that is, you want to talk about just committed to running the ball on first down. I mean, I guess it's good for you, but I think it's the reason they lost the Super Bowl, which is,
Yeah. Zach Taylor, here's the comment for this play. Zach Taylor out here, second level play calling.
And maybe I second leveled myself here. Oh, yeah, okay. So it's first down, right? So the whole game they've been in 4 open, and every time it's been passed. So now he's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, they're playing these goofy fronts. They're not respecting the run game. I'm going to run a draw, right? But the problem with that is, like, you're just getting whooped up front. So here they try to run a little draw play, and it kind of gets blown up. But so finally, he just can't help himself. He's still going to run the ball on first down, even if he has to get in 4 open to do it. Like,
he got 8 yards.
He just can't help himself.
My problem wasn't much with the first down play calling. It was when they got in the second short. That's the play calling that bothered me.
I don't mind runs on second. Like, they got stuffed a couple times on second and short. That's just
how they lost the last series.
Line.
It's shit like this. They're winning. I get it. They're trying to fleece the clock. Time is
okay. To me, there's too much time to fleece the clock. There's 8 minutes.
I know.
McVay's a good offense. They got too many weapons. They got
but they're getting sacked almost on every other drop. Like, I get it, but they're going to try to run the same play. So Jordan asked in the chat, I mean, why go so heavy to the right and then run a dive? It's to move the defense. So let's go back a play. That's a great question. Let's go back 2 plays. Okay, this is why. You put all these bodies over here so he moves. If 87 was lined up over here, that guy's going to sit in this A gap, but it forces him to move. That's why you would do that. I told this story before. We played a team, and I was young and inexperienced. Well, no, I had some good experience by that time. But I took the cheese. We saw unbalance, and everybody's like, oh, you got to knock your front over. You got to move your front over. Went on. Well, they wanted to run strong side B gap lead, and we weren't giving it to them in our base formations, base fronts. We played over and bear. So we had our two best players in the B gap. And I listened to everybody else because and this is why I always tell guys in football, when you ask questions, make sure you give enough context. Because if you just say, hey, what do you do for some balanced? Underfront guy is going to say slide it over one. But if you're an overfront guy, you maybe not want to do that. There's a reason why you're an over. There's a reason why you're not an under. And if you slide it over, you're turning it an under. And I learned a couple of good lessons that day, which is don't just do shit because other people said so. And if you're going to ask questions of people, make sure you give enough context they can give you a good answer. Because I outsmarted myself. Sorry, a little rant here. Okay, so we got quarter, half here.
This is disappointing too here.
I love this. Halves. You got my man here. You got 3 tight ends. Only one of them is really any sort of vertical threat. And I get it. They're playing 2 to get the corner rolled up. They're not doing it for passes, but it's just funny to watch this guy dropping out of there. Now they get it sorted out, but they're also in their under stuff. So we saw one, and tilt's great. I just don't like it versus 13 freaking jumbo, which is what this is. Watch 77 just get bitch slapped. That's a half it technique. So this is an old under front. You line up in the under, you give the rat the cheese, and then you step out into a G, you step out into a 7. So the 7's optional. You can, but you're going to go ear hole this guard, which is they get him right here. Boom.
They're trying to get the double off.
Yep. And also let your backer play fast too.
The center's blocking the wrong way on his combo.
Shocker.
He's got to work to Weddle.
You know what's funny is
He should
he's
be-
looking at him, and he's almost like, I'm gonna go. No, bullshit.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh shit! One double robber at a penny. Some more Von Miller drop back. Oh, sick! They dropped both outside backers this time. We've talked about this before. The Patriots call this one mole, so it's double rat, 3-man rush, dropping both guys out here, and then you can run whatever you want up front. Are you taking notes, Ben?
Yeah.
It's really one triple rat, and what the Patriots do is a little different. Is they play this like zone, so it's kind of hard because this is all condensed. So it gives a nasty picture just because it's just gummed up in there. But just imagine these guys are not here. Or move them out. Move these guys out of there. What's going to happen is a lot of the times, unless 3 is fast. Now 3 is fast, it'll play more like a peel. But what the Pats do is they drop this like zone because you have an extra rat. And they'll play this with zone integrity, meaning instead of like running up to get the guy, I'm going to keep depth, get in the slant window, and help out because it's drop 8, but never getting out leveraged. And this is, I mean, they're not the first to do it. And a lot of this stuff, it's not who came up with it, it's where you learn it first. And that's the first place I learned it, doing it with both edge guys dropping. I've seen one double robber a million times, but I hadn't seen it where they walked guys off the edge and then dropped both of them. The truck stunt, yeah, but so Jordan, what Jordan asked, is it the truck stunt? So the Pats that run this 5-0 stuff, it's a 3-man interior game. It's an old Bear game. They're the old 5-0 Bear games. Yes, they're going to go here, here, and here. The difference is because these guys are dropping, the tackles can bang back and help. Sorry. Where if you're bringing edge rushes, they can't. And now it's truly one-on-one. Yes, Patriots did it against the Chargers in the 2001 divisional. Yeah, we talked about that a lot. I think on one of the videos I did. Good tackle. Good open field tackle. I know we don't talk about tackling in the NFL. Oh, my God. 1st and 10, 12 personnel. Ben's comments, at least he tried.
All right, so I've been complaining that he hadn't thrown a pass on 1st down. So here we go. He gets into 12 personnel. He gets into double off, and they try to throw this little play action over route to Chase here, right? But it's not there. And, of course, they struggle to protect, and he throws the check down, and it goes for nowhere. So finally, he does try to throw a pass on 1st down here. And so I that was my comment. At least he's trying, to throw a pass here because, my Lord.
Now, I know they play a lot of too high out of base. Right? I know that's their big thing. Right? And I know, I'll admit it, I've been watching a lot of Sark Bama film. There's a lot of under center, 12, 11 heavy, where that tight end is, well, not really 11 heavy. So what we do is we say, just a little recap. So if it's a 6th lineman, we call it jumbo. If it's a 7th lineman, we call it elephant. So it'll be like 12J, 13J, 12E. So 12E would be, 14E would be double tights, double wing, but the tight ends, not the wings. The wings are tight ends, and the tight ends that are in the core are linemen, right? Some people do that. And then I'll call H heavy if it's like a bigger tight end. Like Ole Miss a couple years ago, they had the tight end. They would 7-man protect all the time. He was not a vertical threat. He was in there to down block and run zone cut and then go heavy play action, throw the ball down the field. Now, I've been watching a shitload of Sark, and I wish I would have seen some of this. 8-man protect, get under center, get in your 13 jumbo shit, or 13. So have I can't say his name. Uzama. I had him on my fantasy team. Can't say his name. Have him run the deep posts or whatever. I know he's not super fast. Or get in a 12. So get in 11 or 12 jumbo. Have one of the tight ends and have the other tight end be a lineman. block everything down, get mixed in there, 8-man protect, and take deep shots. Like over routes or the deep, like, and I know Burrow didn't have the arm for some of that stuff, but I'm surprised. You always hear about because what's his name's on the McVay tree. I mean, they say it every 3 minutes, right? Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
By the way, they keep talking about that Redskins shit, how they were all together at the Redskins when they were still called the Redskins.
Yeah, that was.
I
was
wouldn't
a pretty
keep
sweet
talking about
coaching
that.
staff when you
They
look
were
at it.
shitty. They were absolutely terrible, and they all looked like they were in like LFO. Also, instead of 98 degrees, it should be 37%. That should be the name of their boy band because that's their winning percentage. Hey-o!
Got him.
Got him. He is more of a Mike Sherman disciple. What?
He's married to Mike Sherman's daughter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
But
terrible.
he was McVay's OC in LA that first year. But yeah, I think he was in Miami with Mike Sherman, was he not?
Also, I have no idea. I don't know of the players, let alone the coaches, let alone offensive coaches. I couldn't tell you. Yes, the chat is saying yes. This is why it's great because they can tell you all about this shit, and then they're like, "Where's that guy live?" I don't know. Like, this is not good. They're sliding this way, but they have to fan out to it. So they got both tight ends blocking away from Donald. Watch this. Sorry, yeah. So I was just like, okay, cool. Oh, Jesus. How is that not called? I mean...
Yeah. They didn't... I mean, you feel bad, but the only, post-snap penalty that got called was the fucking pass interference, or the holding late in the game.
Arnold asks, can you think of a reason why they wouldn't be running more than a single screen this game? No, we talked about that earlier. Maybe you joined later. Maybe I just wasn't clear. I said it like the second series. Like, getting empty and then summon. I would have called June Jones and be like, here's 50 grand. Come out and teach us every screen you've ever run. And I know they're a little different. I know it's a little different but I mean, you want to talk about a good perimeter screen team with little guys? We played Hawaii on the island in 2006. Whew. Devon Best, remember him?
Yeah.
Nightmares. Bro, nightmares. Here we go. Dime. We got more gut. Now, he's flexed out a little bit. He doesn't have his hand on the ground. Here, somebody mentioned this in the chat. They're running the draw. So 2nd and 13, you run the draw again. So it
especially
looks like running,
they've been starting to get a ball.
It's whip fire
They're
zone.
getting more 5-man pressure now. It's so easy to second guess play calls. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. I will say that were they getting a lot of 5-man out of dime, or was that more the nickel?
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't so
I
much
don't
out
know.
of the dime.
I'm not tracking that stuff. Do we have a little Wildcat GM? Oh, no, it's because they're saying. I just love the NFL, man. Just this look would give me nightmares.
Oh.
Or I coach. I'd be like, oh, you got to slide to the 3-man surface. Because when they say it's a different game, it's a different game.
It is a different game. Nice tackle, 11. Jesus. So now you're in 3rd and obvious. Motion out to empty.
Empty. Yeah. I mentioned also on 3rd down. Don't run empty on 3rd down. Okay, we have a question in the chat from Andrew Chakanunka. Coach Vass, if you were in the booth and saw that shit, would you do a cartwheel from the booth to the field? So Andy worked with me at Hartnell, and in a fit of rage, I told a kid one time that if he did that during a game, I would, because at Hartnell, we didn't really have a booth. It was like this stand. It was like a giant tree stand for like deer hunting. They would film that. And then I would go up there, so I had open air, because otherwise you're in this like cramped box. I'm like, fuck that. Let me go up be by myself and the camera guy. So I told a kid at practice in rage one time, I was like, you do that in the game, I'm going to cartwheel out of the stand and drag your ass off the sideline. And I was serious, and Andy, one of the funniest people I've ever met, did like this huge belly laugh, and then I broke because I couldn't stop laughing because he was laughing, but I told a kid I was going to cartwheel out of the booth. I don't think he took me very seriously. So Andy always asks me, when I'm mad. Is that cartwheel out of the booth worthy? I'm like, probably. Oh, we got a little big sexy twist now. So you got the nose. So you're going to run the ET game, but opposite. This is a nice little adjustment. So now they're trying to hit the void. So now they've replaced the dime on third down. So then we're getting option routed to death. You got to make that play, dude. That is
one of the catch it,
least physical imposing DBs I've watched all year. I mean, that's one. I don't know. You got to make that play. Oh shit! I just went full screen. I didn't mean to go full screen. Please don't screw everything up. Oh god. I think I just screwed everything up. Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Oh, now we're back to uh-oh.
Well, there's only 5 plays left, but they're the last 5 plays of the game.
All right, screw it. And now I'm locked out.
Yeah, there's only like 5 plays left.
Everything's going slow for me now. Got more load front. They're losing at this point.
Can
correct?
you see the screen at least?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So now they. Yeah, I can see the film.
All hell just broke loose. Sorry, guys.
Well, they're losing now, so now they're in a 2-minute drill. But they've been the last like 4 drives. They've been crazy conservative and haven't gotten anything out of it. Haven't scored. Haven't done anything. Way too many first down runs. It's been awful. They get off to a good start here, though. Just throwing the hitch versus an off corner and single high. Jamar Chase, Ramsey miss.
That was a great play. He
I mean, that's
threw
all.
him
I mean,
outside.
you couldn't get your 2-minute drive off to a better start.
Here's my other thing. I want to say about the Bengals. They never made him pay for this. They made him never pay.
No.
This is 3 deep coverage, and this guy's playing like court. Look at him. He's not even backing up.
Yeah, he's just flat footing.
Get your fastest dude. I don't know if that's Chase. I don't know their times. But give me double posts. Give me 4 verts. Give me something.
I mean, this is what happens when you don't throw the ball down the field enough. No one respects it, and then you just no one plays with any depth.
And they ran Dancer, their 989 or whatever you want to call it, and they hit it for a big play. That was a 75-yard touchdown. It wasn't like it don't work.
Sure.
I mean, listen, I know Burrow doesn't have an elite arm strength or whatever, but you don't need elite arm strength for those throws. You need touch. Where you need elite arm strength is a 22-yard comeback.
Right.
I mean, that's a good throw.
Yeah.
That's what made me insane about, he's not going to be any good, and Jamar Chase. Those Jamar Chase aren't going to be good. People went real quiet. We got dime. They're running 5. They're just 5 minutes. What's funny is all the bullshit, everything that happens in a game, this is not cutting time. And I'll give Raheem some respect here. When his nuts were on the line, we did the thing that he said he should be doing all game, and he covered everybody down, and he rushed 5, and he made them win the one-on-ones. I thought Ramsey was fine. Somebody asked the question, what do you think of Ramsey's performance this game? I think he was good. Corner's the hardest position to play in the world, or the hardest position to play on defense, not the world. He gave up a couple plays, and he paid for it, but I thought overall he did all right. 3-week buzz. 5 buzz, whatever you call it. This is what I was talking about, the bracket to both sides. How it's not I'm using bracket, I'm using bracket in quotes, not capital not capital B bracket like the coverage. I'm talking about bracket small b.
He gets to be a free player when his man blocks in pass pro.
Yeah, between the college hashes.
Yeah.
And the formation, like you said, the only thing that's going to take him out of this if 3's fast. Now, somebody in the comments mentioned, I also do not understand why P. Ryan is in the game in the final drive of the Super Bowl. Mixon may have got hurt. We don't know. If he's not, then that's coaching malpractice. I'm not sure if anybody. I turned the game literally as soon as the game was over. I turned it off, and I switched over to Billions. I didn't even watch the celebration or anything. I saw it at a later
Billions.
time. Maybe this is why. Watch him stonewall. Watch him stonewall this blitzer. This could be why. Maybe he's the best pass pro guy. They don't throw to the back a lot. This has got to be it. I mean, bam. I mean, he's.
Yeah, he might be the better guy in pass pro.
Now, if they're going to run the ball, they need to take his ass out. But he's not that bad. I mean, he's still a good player. But yeah, I get it. But he looks to be better in pass protection. We got Trevor Jungman in the chat agreeing, so I'm going to side with you, Trevor.
2nd and 2.
Is this it? Is this where the game falls apart?
No, that was really 3rd and 4th.
No, it's this call. No. It's the next one. You're right.
Yeah.
So there's a miss.
So here, this is just miscommunication here on what the single high on what the route would be.
So this is the 3rd confirmed drive in the game, possibly 4th. I need to go back and check. Where they had 2nd and short and either turned the ball over on downs, had to settle for a field goal, or punt. Or, well, this case, turn the ball over. So it's 2nd and 2. 2nd and 1. I get it. You just crossed the 50, take a shot. But they're way the hell off you. It's 2 minutes. This is where you got to have some situational awareness. Why does Joe throw this fade ball? There's nothing about this that says.
Yeah. Again, like single high, you got triple slants. That seems like a good place to go. I think at some point he's just like saying, you know what, I'm going to throw the 9 route to Jamar Chase.
It's a minute, and I get it. You want to win one-on-one on the outside, but the guy you're going against is really good, and he's backing off of you. You just threw a hitch on his ass. You baited him. Now he's backed off. So I get it. Maybe they were trying to go the hitching out, but Chase doesn't make any sort of move that makes me think it's a double move. Like he just he just beelines it.
The other thing that makes it a little confusing is he's got triple slants to the other side, so he's got a single high beater over there as well.
True. Weddle does a good job of. We talk about overdropping 3, and this is important in cover 3. Overdropping 3 to declare 3's intention, because he overdrops, he's going to bite hard inside. Because he flattens out, that cleans up the picture for Weddle.
So here's the 3rd down play. I mean, he just looks right to Chase. He never looks to the other side. He just decides to take his one-on-one ball.
Oh, he does. No, he's got it. Look, he's looking over here. Throw it now.
Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong.
Late on a fade ball against Jalen Ramsey. Ooh, I don't know. He might have taken one too many hits to the head. Here we go. Penultimate play.
So they ran this play, 2nd play of the game, right? Jet with split zone.
Got their ass kicked.
And got stuffed. And now here again. Literally, I mean, it's the exact same play. Out of a stack. 2x2 off, out of a stack. And I mean, Aaron Donald makes this play again on his buddy, the 77 guy.
Okay, so let's galaxy brain this. I get why they do it. Because think about this. Look who's in the game. If you're going to lever fit this. Now, he blitzes. He's here. Let's say he's going to drop. Or he's an edge player. I get it, because now you have a dime having to play the A-gap. Just get the first down. Let's call timeout. I'm trying to defend him, because the moment I was like throwing my phone across the room. But like, I know this is crazy, and I know this might be stupid, and I know, Ben, you might be going, Vass, what are you talking about? I am not an O-line guy by trade, by any stretch of the imagination. But here's what I want to say. If you're going to run split zone, okay, do you really need to block Von Miller? Just go with me here. He's in a 12 technique. He's damn near at the numbers. Like, I'm not even kidding. Look, he's at the fucking numbers almost. Go here. if you think he might come inside, step and then bang back here. You got this to target the dime. Williams takes the blitzer. He comes across. This thing's never going to get front side. Bang this shit right there. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Don't let him come inside on your worst player. Why are you in a hurry to go all the ball's going to hit right there. Also, why jet motion? You're bringing people to the party. You are allowing this guy to come in here. If you don't do this and he blitzes, here are your run defenders. Broke shoulder mountain and a dime. From depth. You bring him in the box. Now he's got nothing to do. He can add wherever. He is gap free. Now technically he should fit with this guy coming back. He should fit outside. He's free to the ball. And now you've singled up your worst lineman against their best lineman, the best lineman maybe in the history of the NFL inside. And then he runs right at it. What the fuck are you reading right there? Well, 91 Gaines gets back across, but that's... I don't know.
It's a really good play by 91.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
4th and 1.
And now here we go, 4th down.
Championship call. I asked this question on the podcast a lot. Now, I know it's not 4th and 9. I know it's a little farther out, but here it is. This is for the Super Bowl. What are you going to do? They're going to run 3.
Yeah, they have not pissed a drop in the run game. Like, I get it. He's got to throw it, and I totally agree with that. You know, and so, like, he's got the 9 ball. He's got slant flat up top. Right now, the nickel up top actually does a tremendous job. They've been getting a ton of slants and a lot of slant flat. He actually does a great job. You know,
I guess
hanging in the window.
To me, he gives up. This is the 5th time now where they have been out leveraged to the flat, and he doesn't fucking throw it.
That's a long. You're talking about throwing the quick or the arrow route all the way out to the field. That's tough.
He's not covered, maybe. But like it's man free. He's there's nobody there.
He's not covered, but he's looking for the slant inside.
But once it gets doubled, you got it. I get it. But if that was the first time or the second time, I'd be like, sure, okay. But it's the 5th time this game where there's been somebody out leveraged. Also,
it's happened a lot.
Why? Like, this is what I don't understand. I'm not a Bengals expert. I don't know the personnel. I mean, I know obviously Chase and Higgins and all these guys. But you're running slant arrow. Did they throw the ball to 87? Did he have 1 catch in the whole game?
Early on, he had 1. They threw him like a hitch to the field or something like that.
That was the stick route or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
If you're going to do this horse shit where he's going to skip to my Lou, his ass in here, and it's 1 high, then put the fucking fish, like you said, put him in here and have him eat these 2 up, and then let that be Higgins and get him the ball in space. They've proven time and time again in this game they will not cover anything where it's out leveraged at their own peril.
Yeah,
and this is why
a number of times, didn't it?
When you're coaching defense and you say, you know, this is where you gotta humans take over on a board. This looks like a terrible technique. So in your opinion, this is great. It's great because he knows he ain't gonna throw it. I mean, that's playing with fire because right now the slant's open. So that's so what you're saying is 100% correct. But to just give that up, that's crazy. And what either has to happen, either that was an amazing play by a guy who I picked on a little bit this game, or that's his fault for never throwing this ball where he can know that he can do that shit.
Yeah.
So it was one of 2 things. It was either flawless play and execution and they baited him, or he's the luckiest sumbitch on the planet.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's watch the end zone real quick, and then we will skedaddle. Don't turn your shoulders. Oh, yeah, and the other thing is we got to talk about this. And I know he's not looking over there. It's also 4th and 1. So this is an alert, right? I'm taking this shot now. The problem is, so and I know people look at this and say Ramsey fell down. But with a route like this where you're in press, those play like you won't, if you go there, that's your only option.
Yeah.
This is a pre-snap
You can't get to the other side.
And so if you're going to bet on 4th and 1, even though it's Chase, I'm going to beat Jalen Ramsey on a fade ball. And I'm sure they had slant arrow called here as well, right? But he converted it to because it was press, he converted it to a fade. That's my
he
guess.
might have, yeah.
So that's my thing is, yeah, he falls down, but
it's too late at that point.
All you got to do is you got to win. He's got to throw it now. And let's the end zone's cut pretty close. So
yeah,
Burrow's,
I mean it's just
Burrow didn't even look over there.
Nope, he goes right to the slant flat side. Which like you get, it's strong rotated single high.
I just don't know why you'd run the arrow with the tight end. This is where everything matters. Like I'm gonna tell you this right now. And I'm gonna play armchair quarterback here, which I know I usually get on people about like, hey, this is the hardest position in football. The reason and people might think I'm a Rams hater or whatever, because I've been so critical of them even though they won the game. I don't think the Rams defense won the game as so much the Bengals fucking lost it. On defense.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about overall. Stafford had that great drive at the end of the game. But I thought for 57 minutes, I thought the well, maybe not 57 minutes. That's maybe a little harsh. But I thought for a long stretch of the game, the Bengals had the upper hand. And it's little shit like this. Like, I've read all this terrible stuff about Zach Taylor. No, I know, Jordan. You're the one I thought about when I said that I don't want to be armchair quarterback because I know I gave you shit and this is a really hard position. This one isn't on Burrow. But I've heard a lot of people talk shit about Zach Taylor. And I never understood it because... And I love Callie. Callie's the OC there. He's a Sarah guy. His first OC job was at Sarah, where I was had probably my most successful stint in coaching. But it's shit like this that confounds me. I'm not an offensive coach. I'm no genius. I'm just a guy with some NFL film, a fancy clicker, and a good friend that wants to come on and talk football with me. But if you're going to run a one high beater, you're going to run slant arrow, and you're just going to occupy here. This guy hadn't done shit all game long. Put him in here. Let me kill these annotations. If you're going to have a fish, if you're going to have somebody just take people up, why not put Higgins? Or Higgins is the outside. Okay, put Boyd in there then. You know what I mean? Like, why? Yeah, and the other thing is, and great point is, Arnold said, he's on a snap count too. He's injured. They didn't know if he was going to play. And when it comes down to the game was on the line, you're going to put your best player backside and run a go route, and you're not going to throw it because you know as soon as Ramsey lines up on him. And then you're going to have a slant arrow, and they haven't protected the flat not once this entire game. And the guy that's open is your guy that's on a snap count, who, by the way, is a tight end, who you've had as the number 3 player all game long. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. So, anyway. I mean, the Rams, I'll tell you this, and I know I've given them a hard time about all that stuff. They were patient. I didn't understand a lot of their game plans, and I still think it doesn't matter that they won. The criticisms of the things that they did up to when they started saying, hey, we should rush 5 people. Like, I didn't enjoy that Super Bowl as a coach because it was driving me crazy with the shit they were doing. Like, it was just both sides. It was insane to me. Leaving Donald as copping as a 3 technique, not getting in more empty. You're not taking shots and play action. No sort of, vanilla ass. It's gun, it's pass, or it's shitty run. Under center, it's run. Did they run any play actions out of 13 jumbo? Did they run anything? Like
Yeah,
that?
they scored a touchdown on it.
Oh, and the deep play. Was that 13? I'm sorry.
The T. Higgins play.
I thought it was 12 personnel. My bad. You know what I mean? So that's what they let him off the hook. And I thought the Rams were there they were right for the taking. And
yeah, I did too.
How bad that offensive line is and how far they got. Somebody mentioned it. They got to get him help or it's going to be Andrew Luck 2.0. The difference between Joe and Andrew is I think Joe would stick it out. Andrew's a Stanford guy. He's smart as hell, has many interests off the field. Not that Joe Burrow was not any of those things, but like, I was not surprised when Luck retired. I was like, okay. Like, I used to listen to him on Men in Blazers, and he would talk about like reading poetry and stuff. I was like, yeah, this guy's not going to stick around very long, But they need to get him some offensive line help. They have 3 really good young receivers that they got locked up. They got to get some back end guys on defense, and they need to get some O linemen now, because that ain't it. They need to pull a Chiefs. They need to overhaul that thing. Not all 5 guys or whatever, but they needed some.
Shoot, maybe all 5 guys.
What's that?
Shoot, maybe all 5 guys.
I think Jonah's good. But again, I may not be biased. I think he'd be a good right tackle. Like, I don't know. He was good at Bama. He was good at Folsom. He's been decent. I mean, he's not Bakhtiari or Willie Roaf or anything. But I think he's a good NFL lineman. But Arnold just said it best. You cannot have guards and centers and tackles losing on single blocks and under a second on some plays. That's true. You can't.
No.
And honestly, I think this game would have been a lot worse if Raheem would have done what he did in the second half and the first half. I think it might have been a blowout.
Yeah.
Because I think those accumulation of hits would have piled up sooner. And I think it would have been worse. And I'm really surprised it took him half to get to some of that stuff. I mean, you had it in your notes. I said it too. When you play a bad O-line, what is the first thing you do? Is you rush 5 people. And I understand Burrow's good at seeing pressure, beating man, whatever. But he wasn't in that game. I would have at least tested it out earlier. And they did run 5-man pressures, but it was like penny, double edge versus run play action. I'm talking about on 3rd down. Ultimately, they got to it. They won the game. But I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, they should have got to the 5-man rush earlier. 4 one-on-ones. But, like, on the other hand, I get why that's a little scary because now you're playing one-on-one on the outside. And, like, okay, maybe you feel good about whoever Ramsey's on, but what about the other matchups? If you don't feel good, if you can't cover, then 5-man pressure looks a little scary.
Maybe that was the plan all along. Maybe that was the plan as earlier they were going to play soft coverage to call plays. Maybe they knew. Yeah. I mean, maybe they're playing the long game. Maybe they knew, hey, early on they're going to throw the ball out quick. So let's play coverage. Let's lull them to sleep a little bit. Let's get them calling plays with longer developing routes because they think they're going to have more time and then lock it down. Which could have been. Yeah, I mean, they won the game. They did with the appropriate adjustments. So maybe
they're world champs.
Maybe it worked out to their advantage. I just kept seeing stuff where Safeties are fitting A gaps. Von Miller's dropping. Aaron Donald's copping and having to slide from a 3 technique out to a 5 technique, and they're getting one-on-ones with the other D tackle who's not nearly as good in the pass rush game. Like, it was shit like that was driving me insane. 3 blown coverages early. Coverages we couldn't even figure out. But like, what the hell is this? Like, it was disaster city. But I do think this win is going to have long-ranging implications. And I've actually wondered why more teams haven't done this. I get the NFL, the draft is so important, and you got to build your team through the draft. And I agree, 3rd to 7th round, 2nd to 7th round. But if you tell me that a first-round pick has a 50-50 hit rate, and I could give up a first-round pick to get Von Miller or whatever. Like, when I hear people say, oh, they gave up a 4th for him. Oh, my God, that's so much. I'm like, a 4th round draft pick? You know what I mean? Like, their model of team building, I think it's going to catch on. And I'm honestly surprised more people haven't done that. You find the positions.
Yeah, I saw.
Go ahead.
Yeah, certainly. I think what you're about to say is, there's premium positions. You could trade draft picks for known players at those positions. I think there's 2 other pieces to that. One, you've got to be able to find value in the back half of the draft. You've got to be able to find players. So you need an experienced, scouting staff who does a really good job identifying those guys. And then 2, I think the other part of it was, like 2-3 years ago, the salary cap made that huge jump when the new TV contracts kicked in. And so there was that massive jump in the cap. And so all of a sudden you've got all this more room where like you could go be more aggressive in free agency now because, the cap number jumped by so much and the rookies are still on that rookie wage scale. So you can afford to be a more free agent based team, as long as you can, you're trading future draft capital for known players, which I understand. So but as long as, something terrible doesn't happen, like, if Stafford gets hurt, their season is fucked because who's their backup quarterback? Lord knows, right? John Wofford, I think, is who it is, right? And so, like, they're not going to win a Super Bowl with that guy. So
Zach Taylor may need to come out of retirement.
So, like, you've got to be able to find players in the middle and the back half of the draft you can't miss, right? Or else you're gonna have a problem. And then, the veteran guys you bring in have got, the guys you pay have got to be the guys you think they are at the premium positions, and then you can spend your 4th and 5th round picks drafting, guards and 2-down linebackers and box safeties and, specialists and things like that. Cause you're going to, spend all your draft capital, trading for known entities at the premium positions like the Von Millers and the Matt Staffords and, the OBJs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's certainly, I think now that, especially now that they've had the ultimate success and won a world championship, I think probably a lot of personnel departments sitting down saying, hey, is the old draft develop model like the best way to go, and maybe it's not anymore.
Well, and I think you got to go feast or famine. I think people get caught in between where they only have like 1 or 2 stars, if you want to call them stars, and then they have a bunch of fill-ins. I think you take it 2 ways. You pretend like it's Madden, like you're Sean McVay, and go insane, or you treat it like Belichick, where you don't have any stars. I think what happens is people hold on to these 1 or 2 guys that are worth a shitload of money at non-premium positions. And then, at least McVay did it at premium positions. Quarterback, edge rush, corner, receiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not saddled with some big out like the Cowboys are saddled with Ezekiel Elliott money.
Right.
But like I was thinking about Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick was traded. The Dolphins sent a 4th round and 7th round pick and Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Steelers for a 1st round pick, a 5th, and a 6th. And everybody lost their minds. That's so much. Oh, I'm like, the dude's going to be an all-pro. He's a guaranteed all-pro in his 2nd year. So if he was a 1st rounder last year and he's only been there for 1 year, why is this such a huge deal?
Yeah.
It's also the Steelers. They're usually pretty good, so their draft pick's going to be pretty low. So,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? And now the next year, so that was in 19, in 2020, going into the 2020 season, he was rated by all these different polls. He's the number one safety in the league. Whether you agree with that or not, you can split hairs. But he's damn near top 2 or 3 in the league. And you're able to do so much with him. So how is that bad? I mean, if you know you're going to get a Pro Bowler for a first round draft pick, and fuck Pro Bowl, all pro team, one of the best 2 or 3 at his position in the league, and that's a first round pick, a low first round pick. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like that's what I don't understand. Yeah. And somebody asked about the draft. No, I'm not covering the draft. I can't stand the draft. I'm very honest about it. Couldn't give 2 shits about the draft, honestly. Half the guys are never going to play. Half the guys are going to never do shit. We're going to talk about a bunch of shit for the next 2.5 months that have nothing to do with football. Thank God they got rid of the Wonderlic in their underwear pictures. I can't stand it. I think it was 2013 was the year it soured me, which is the year they're saying this draft's going to be. That really just terrible draft. I spent months obsessing over who was going to go where, and then nobody was worth a shit. I'm just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing with our time? So no, I will not be doing any draft. I might do 1 or 2 things, but I have no interest in scouting. I literally couldn't care less. Give me the guys once you've developed them, or tell me what you got. I started out I was at Miami for a short time. I started out in G5 and then went to high school. You get what you get. And when you're at San Jose State and you're going against Boise when Boise was really Boise, and Hawaii when they had June, you got the best of what was left over. And, it's a lot of like, you get what you get and you make do with it. So I'm not scouting, and that shit never really mattered because you weren't getting, it's not like Bama where it's like, okay, well, they have to have 10-inch hands or else they're fired. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, can this guy play? Cool, get him in there. The recruiting was, can he play?
It's totally different.
Does he have the grades? Can he play? And is he going to go like shoot somebody or beat somebody's ass? Like, is he go to jail? Is he a jailbird? No? Good. Sign him up.
Right.
So I never really got into that. That was never really my forte. So sorry. But I don't know. I'm going to kind of mull it over. I don't want to make any promises right now because I'm about to hit clinic season. I'm going to go on some visits soon. So I don't want to be beholden to like, oh, we're going to do Tuesday Night Football every night. And then I'm getting in like on my coach. Because I get in these modes where like I shut off the world for a couple weeks. Like I got to get ready for my Glacier. So in another day or 2, I'm going to go radio silent for like 2 weeks and make sure that shit's done. And I'll have a Coach 2 course out. But I don't want to be beholden to anything. We'll kind of be like a fun thing. We'll see how it goes, see what Ben's availability is. Hopefully he can't do it, meaning that he got a new gig. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like I hope that I call you in 2 weeks and I'm like, hey, you want to do one of these? And I'm like, dude, I'm moving to wherever. And be like, dude, congrats. I did
Lord
promise.
willing, man, me and you both.
I did promise the Rose Bowl, so we'll probably try to do that next Tuesday. But I don't have a mailing list for this. It's YouTube. If you ever want to know, just subscribe, turn the notifications on. I don't post a lot of shit. You're not going to get daily pings from me, annoying pings, or follow me on Twitter. Follow, turn notifications on, check in with me, and we'll do it. And then if you miss it, you miss it. I know we do some interaction, but it'll be up here for replay. But Ben, I wanted to thank you for coming on. Thanks for hanging out with me. This kind of just developed like the first week of the year. I wouldn't even have planned anything like this, and then you were freed up to come on and hang out, which I appreciate. I know it was a rough end of the year for you, and so I've been putting positive vibes out in the universe to get you to where you want to be next, where you want to go.
Much appreciated, man. It's a work in progress, that's for sure.
This is a fucked up profession. This year
sure is.
Has solidified my decision. I don't mind telling. I'll keep the names, and it may not even come true, but I turned down an NFL QC job, potential NFL QC job this year, because I don't want to be beholden to anybody. I was lucky enough to start this business. It's taken off. It's been comfortable enough for me to live my life and the freedom that I want. I watched, I'll keep their names private. You got screwed. I had two other friends got screwed. I had elected. The Lech thing is, there's no internal thing stuff. My buddy Brandon Lechtenberg, who I love like a brother, they won 10 games at UIW this year. I want to say best in school history, which I know is not very long. I don't think they've been playing football for that long. I don't know the history, but very good year. The head coach gets an OC job at Wazoo. The DC gets a job at Wazoo. Obviously, they're just DCs and OCs, so they can't bring everybody. We all know the whole thing with Rolovich. Basically, the DC became the head coach, and Rollo was gone, so they brought in Eric Morris, and then I think they may have made a staff shakeup. I don't know. They brought in the DC and the OC from UIW. No. They brought the They brought the OC from UIW and the DC from Nevada. And my buddy Brandon, who kicks ass, does a great job. They hire some dipshit from UCF, and I feel bad. I don't know the guy, but some guy who was Gus Malzahn's jock sniffer, and he gets the head job, fires the defensive staff. So here's Lech, who they win 10 games, good on special teams, does his job. I've never been around a guy who does a better job at dotting I's and crossing T's without being a tight ass. Like, he just gets his shit done. You know what I mean? Loses his job. Fuck that. It's a great profession, a terrible business.
That's
I've also watched a
absolutely
lot
right.
of really terrible humans get good jobs. I've watched some guys that have bitched about transfer portals go to a school and then leave without even coaching a down of spring football. Which, hey man, more power to you, but don't go on the fucking internet and bitch about the coaching portal or the transfer portal. By the way, how about Joe Burrow? How about one for the transfer portal?
Yeah.
That was a big winner. Somebody mentioned in there, imagine. By the way, we're having some great comments tonight. I love this. There's no toxicity. We had one guy one week where he was like, fucking get to the film. And I shut his ass down quick because I don't give a shit. I'm the type, if you troll me, I'll just be like, all right, I'm done. I'll go do something else. Like, I don't need this shit. Like, you know what I mean? But Joseph Davis said, on a positive note for Joe, if he doesn't transfer to LSU, he might be pumping gas at the local 7-Eleven instead of getting the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Talk about great business decisions. Yes, I always talk about what's not a winning business model. That is a winning business model. It's also, everybody's different. Everybody's got a different situation. Joe wasn't. It's running from competition is one thing. But if they've told you you're not going to be the guy, which they told him, you are not going to be the quarterback, why stay? You want to go somewhere? Like, what was that guy's name? Not Star Jones. Actually, it might have been. Remember that quarterback from Bama that went there? They had 2 5-star kids. And, McElroy won the job, and then he went up to, South Alabama or one double A
He
school.
ended up going to, 5 different places.
Yeah, his name was Star something. Star Jackson. Not Star Jones. That guy, he went to Bama. He competed. He lost, and then said, you know what? I lost. Hold your head up high. I'm going to go somewhere else because I really want to play. You only get one shot at this. Right? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
If it's something where somebody brought you in or it's toxic, Spencer Rattler's an asshole, but Spencer Rattler, they replace you, the fan base turns on you, and then the guy leaves. I don't know how you can, even if it's a new staff, I don't know how you can come back from that. Sometimes you just need a fresh start. But it's one thing to you're going to bring in and recruit while I'm leaving if you do that. That's running from competition. But if you lose a battle, I don't think there's any shame in being like, listen, I only got one time. I got one shot at this.
Yeah.
Like Eminem says, bringing a full circle to the Super Bowl. You got one shot.
It's quarterback's so unique too because there's only one on the field at a time. It's not like, hey, I'm the third defensive tackle. Well, great, you're still going to play 40% of the plays. You're still on the field playing. Whereas like, when you're the number 2 quarterback, you might not see the field for a couple of years. So
Yeah,
I get it. You want to play, and they tell you you're not going to play, or it's pretty obvious that the guy in front of you is not coming off the field because he's a good player,
my camera's
and
gone
he
out of
might only
focus, so I'm
be
doing
like
my trick.
one
Sorry,
year. He's
I'm doing
so
my.
I get it. I have no problems with the transfer portal. My whole deal, as a college coach, was always like, hey, when we're going and it's in season, and you get to that fall camp time and you decide you're going to be on the team, be on the team. You got to be all in until the season is over, and then when the season's over, we all get to make our decisions that are in our best interest. Now, like certainly, if the situation gets toxic, like the Spencer Rattler thing, the fan base turns on you, and it's getting ugly and contentious. Okay, then everybody probably needs a fresh start as soon as possible. But if it comes down to playing time, which is usually why guys enter the transfer portal, nine times out of 10, that's it, right? Like I want to play more, and I'm not getting that opportunity here, so I'm going to go look for a different one. I totally support that. But the way I see it, you got to be all in for the whole season. That's what you signed up for. When we get to the end of the season, and then it's your time to make the best decision for you, and I'll support you 110% in that decision, and I'll do everything I can to help find you a place where you think you can go and compete and play, right? But when we're in season, we've got to be able to count on you. You've committed to being a member of the team. Like there are like tricky situations, for guys play as freshmen, and then they get up in their careers and they say, hey, like I'm a senior and I'm still a rotational player. Like, hey, I might need to hit the portal before the first 4 games are over, so I can still take a redshirt year. Like, there's always extenuating circumstances, certain players like that. I totally understand that, in the extenuating circumstances. But for me, when you're on the team, be on the team, 100%, all in with everybody. And then when you get to the season end, you make the best decision for you. If that's being back on the team next year, great. If it's not, I'll do anything I can to help you. Just let me know.
Yeah.
But that's
well, like you said, every situation is different, and I think like I'm the type of guy, like I'm one of those people that I don't want to let people down. So if I get into a situation like that where I didn't win the job, and I'm not in a good headspace, I would rather extricate myself from the situation and say, listen, guys, I want to be a part of this team, but I'm not doing well with this. So let me get the hell out of there. I think there's some, like you said, I mean, it's not even toxic, like preemptively. Like I know I'm a little bitch, and so I'm going to complain and cry. So I'll just get out of your hair now. There's some room for that because I can be very spiteful. God's working on all of us. I know that about myself. Like I should never be like one of those billionaire people because I would be like an insane person. Like if anybody, like if you ever seen Billions, I would be not David Axelrod. That was Obama's chief of staff, not his chief political operative.
Would you be Axe?
I would. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. You'd like look petty at me wrong. I'm like, your whole family's gonna be homeless. Like people are like, you should just move on from the USA football situation. Just be positive. Fuck that. Like the day they go out of business, I might lose some sponsorships. I might just risk it all, as they say. Like I'm gonna be an asshole. So maybe that type of person, like I know that about myself, and try to work on it, but also I have a little spite streak, a little Larry David in me. I got a little spite store. But in all seriousness, I don't know. I think it's interesting though, because I think like you said, every situation. Look at Jalen, and then there's Jalen Hurts, lost his job in the national championship game, loses his job the next year. They try to split some time with him, and he put his year in. They gave him a chance to recruit another quarterback, give him a year of their service, and then he bowed out, went to Oklahoma. Probably the right way to do it.
Yep.
That's why he's successful and I'm not. And I'm just a little bitch. So it's okay. We all got to know our limitations.
What a way to end the show.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us this year. My name's Chris Vassar, and I'm a little bitch. I got no problem saying that. All right, man. We're out 3 hours and 47 minutes. Ben, Thank you for joining us. Look out for the
My
TCU one
pleasure.
next week. We're going to go back in time a little bit. We're trying to we just get a special guest to join us. It'll be me and Brandon Lechtenberg. And then after that, God knows what. I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. And thanks if you, for some reason, stuck around this long. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate all the positivity. And we will see you soon. Bye.
See you guys.